Part 10. Yang Mi, My Daughter Catches Ghosts. Scared millions of viewers. Author, Tianyi Madman. Chapter 91. Got a loud slap in the face. Kuroba Junko from Sakurajima Kingdom has become completely honest. She has finally discovered it now. These two 5 or 6-year-old little girls cannot be treated with common sense. In terms of practice and combat ability, these two little girls are simply the pride of heaven, a presence that makes people look up to them. But in terms of ordinary life, mundane chores, and worldliness, these sisters are still no different from ordinary 5 or 6-year-old children. The one named Joshi is relatively good. She is lively and active by nature, quirky and curious. Even when she was nagging so much, she was kind of listening to her. The 6-year-old girl Joshia who appeared later was carrying a long sword. But the main focus is the cool queen style. He is definitely an insufferable master. He just spoke for a long time, but she didn't seem to hear a word. I also dislike myself for being too verbose. There was a slap in the face from the void. We are two sisters. He was adopted by Yulingman since he was a child. In addition to practicing ninjutsu, illusion, and spirit control skills. Also learn Chinese language and characters, as well as various knowledge related to China. Then he was sent to China to become an international student. We didn't receive any assignments until we graduated from college. Until noon today. Our sisters are traveling in Kyoto. Suddenly I received news from Yulingman, asking us to watch the live broadcast of your program. If possible, get inside and see what China wants to do. Later, while you were fighting the first fierce ghost, my sister Kurabamako used magic to take the place of a female photographer. And he even actively requested to be the first to be on camera. When Kuroba Junko said this, Wang Zhenjiao and several staff members began to sweat again. When the female cameraman from 893 came and volunteered to be the first camera, it was Wang Zhenjiao authorized by others. But at that time, he was so frightened that he peed his pants and didn't notice anything was wrong at all. What's even more terrifying is, this female photographer was filming from afternoon to night. His entire program team, no one even noticed it. Even though they knew it was an illusion, this illusion is so confusing. What if after returning home, my wife has changed and I can't tell? I won't die. You know how to die? In fact, when we started early, we sisters didn't have many ideas. I tested it first and found that it was okay. I'm just going to follow the situation and see what happens. Especially after seeing Joshi at a young age and using all kinds of magical powers. We once retreated. Until we followed to this village. And after knowing the secret of this village. After all, we couldn't bear it anymore. After all, that is the tomb of the Pre-Qin Chi refiner. There may be books on cultivating immortals, or even opportunities to become immortals. If we sisters have a chance to get it, we will definitely fly into the sky and never have to rely on others again. If nothing else goes wrong, we'll kidnap Diliriba, the key to opening the ancient tomb. If you bring it to Yulingman, it will definitely be a great achievement and the reward will be generous. In addition, we sisters have the same spiritual connection and hit it off right away. A very good plan was quickly formulated. That is, she is waiting in the dark to kidnap Dilruba. And I put on the bride's clothes. Use various methods in the open to attract your attention. Let you think. My target is just the remnant soul of Taoist Swan Yun. By then, all your attention will be on me. No matter how strong you are and how fast you are. It should be too late to rescue Diliriba. And as long as Dilruba is at hand. The two of us threatened her life, plus our ninjutsu. Then you can escape whole body. It's just that I don't understand why things turned out like this. Why do you seem to know what we are going to do? Not only did he not stop and let us complete the plan. Although last We still lost, badly. None of us expected that the mysterious unknown in Deliriba would be so powerful. In such a dangerous situation, he protected her thoroughly and completed the counterattack. But I still don't understand what's going on. You have obviously discovered something is wrong, why didn't you take action in advance? Aren't you afraid that something might go wrong with the unknown power in Diliriba's body? Will this allow us to succeed, or will it allow her to die? You. Why are you so confident? So firmly believe that everything will develop according to your imagination. The more Kuraba Junko spoke, the more excited she became. The black lines and question marks on her head were almost overflowing. At the same time, the questions she raised, made Wang Zhenjiao and others, as well as the audience in the live broadcast room, all think deeply. Of course. They are also very confused. As Kuraba Junko said, the dangerous situation just now can obviously be avoided. Why didn't the two young ancestors Zhou Shii and Zhou Xiu avoid it, and even actively contributed to it? Confidence. Of course we have confidence. Not having confidence in ourselves. But have faith in our Father. This result is not what we expected. It's just bound to happen. Zhou Shii said proudly like a arrogant little princess. Everyone was confused. They couldn't understand even more. What does this have to do with your unreliable father? From the beginning to the end, he has no just show up. I can't even get through on the phone. You too, if you don't want to say it, you don't have to say it. I fell into your hands, I admit it. But you can't treat me like a fool. Kuraba Junko said in an extremely speechless and desperate manner. She thought that before she died, she would die clearly. That's why she put down her dignity as a ninja and confessed so much. Who would have thought? In exchange for a lot of heap, I don't understand the words at all. Let me just say that there is something wrong with her understanding. She still doesn't admit it. Zhou Xiu, who didn't speak much at the side, faintly made up for it with a knife. Puff. Kuraba Junko couldn't hold it back anymore and was so angry that she vomited blood. Is this really my problem? Am I really not as good as any elementary school student in China? Yes, she has begun to doubt herself. Yes. Poor understanding ability. But my father taught us that we must be honest in life. You are a good boy who does what he says. Forget it, for the sake of my baby being in a good mood. Then let me tell you in detail. Let me think about it, where to start. Zhou Shii shook her little head and pondered for a moment, as if she was sorting out her thoughts. Then, her little mouth started to speak like a machine gun. This started a few days ago. After Mom came back, Daddy was the first to kiss Mom instead of the baby. Of course this baby won't be happy. Very angry. Because this is not the first time. Zhou Shii spoke up. Yang Mi's face suddenly turned red. She was so red that she was about to bleed. My good daughter, why are you saying everything to others? You are not answering that Sakurajima country. Is it a woman's problem? Why does it involve me and your father? Although it is childish talk. But this kind of thing is so shameful. Especially now, it is still live broadcast, this rebellious daughter. It was like a mother was publicly executed in public. Yang Mi felt like she could pull out a picture of Riverside during the Qingming festival with her toes. Ah! I'm going to fight that big pig's hoof on horseback. Although I knew this would happen a long time ago, otherwise there would be no little 11, but after hearing these words, I still can't bear it. Woo-hoo-hoo, my great goddess Mimi. Why on earth? I'm so damn excited, waiting for Xiao Shii to answer my questions. Unexpectedly, as soon as she opened her mouth, she gave me a head-on blow. Woohoo, I don't want to know this. Come on, they are a husband and wife, so what's wrong with a kiss? Don't talk about it, even a day of kissing is reasonable and legal, there is no problem. That is, husband, if two people don't kiss, how can they create such a quirky, cute little loli? I can't wait for that big pig's hoof to kiss me. After all, becoming his woman, can beautify and maintain youth forever. That is. This girl is also very envious and jealous. Ah, shut up and stop talking. I can't imagine the sight of my goddess being desecrated. Just as Yang Mi feared. The audience in the live broadcast room instantly understood what the big pig hooves and Yang Mi were discussing. What else could be discussed in the bedroom? The plan to create a human being. In an instant, in the live broadcast room with more than 50 million people, there was complete chaos. Those who collapsed. Those who cried loudly. Those who were envious and jealous. There were also those who were watching the fun and didn't mind it, everything. Even Delire on the side. BA. They couldn't help covering their mouths and snickering. Yang Mi glared at her fiercely, but she couldn't control it. Fortunately, at this time, Zhou Xi continued to speak. Later, Mommy fell asleep. Dad just remembered to accompany me. Snort. This baby doesn't care about that. Angrily asking him to compensate me. Then, he took me to play at Aunt Reba's house. Something more abominable is coming. This stinky dad. He even kissed Aunt Reba in front of me again. This baby is angry, really angry. Because I haven't kissed this baby yet. But who made him the father? This baby's favorite stinky daddy. So this baby can only endure it? As if recalling the situation at that time. Zhou Xi was as angry as a lit gas tank. She pinched her waist with both hands and her mouth bulged with anger. But this time, Deliriba was dumbfounded. Why is it still involving me? She remembered that a few days ago, such a thing did happen. But, this little ancestor can't talk about it casually. You and your dad should discuss the matter, and everyone should return the favor. I can understand it. My aunt is discussing things with your father. You can understand it. Others can't understand it. Ah. Where is my knife? Where is my 40-meter machete? I really want to fight with this big pig's trotters. Let me just say, that damn big pig's hooves will definitely bring disaster to the goddess Reba. I was also expecting it, because every time goddess Reba mentioned that big pig's hooves, her expression and name were wrong. Woohoo, the pigs have eaten all the good cabbage. I hate it so much, I have never seen such a shameless person. Give me back my goddess. Damn, I got married and had a baby, I couldn't hold back. Fairy sister Lu Yifei also got married and had children, I couldn't hold back again. But this time, I really can't bear it. Goddess Reba is my youth and my dream. Brothers. Sorry. This world is no longer the world before. And don't forget how powerful they are. In fact, what I envy and hate the most is, he just came out of Damami's place and entered Dilaraba's place again. He wouldn't dare to do this even in daydreams. The live broadcast room just exploded not long ago. This time came a double blow, especially for Dilaraba's die-hard male fans. I almost burst into tears and couldn't control myself. When they knew that Domimi and Fairy Sister had been troubled by some big pig's hooves. Dilraba is the last piece of pure land in their hearts. Who would have thought? This piece of pure land has long been conquered by that big pig's hooves. It's such a joy to fertilize and water again. The most important thing is, the news came too suddenly. No warning, no preparation. It's a critical attack right from the start, and it really doesn't take a while to recover. Little 11. Freeze said. Your father and I are really discussing about a film and television drama script. And this has nothing to do with the question raised by that person. Say the important thing, say the important thing. Dilruba's face turned red and she reminded Joshi not to talk nonsense again. This time it was Yang Mi who covered her mouth and couldn't laugh anymore. Sure enough, things have turned around. You just laughed at me first. Aunt Reba, what I'm talking about is business. Mainly because they, the people from Sakurajima country, have poor understanding. I'm afraid that if I don't explain clearly the cause and effect, she won't understand. Joshi, I said, and glanced at Junko Kuroba with a look of disgust. She almost didn't vomit blood again. Why did it come to me again? I didn't want to hear such gossip, okay. But as a prisoner of 0.8, what qualifications does she have to speak? What if she can't speak well? If this little ancestor dislikes herself again, her expression skills are not good. Who can she ask to reason with? So, she can say whatever she wants. As long as she can get to the point. After Dad came out this time, he said that Aunt Reba was also sleeping. Also very weak or something. But this time, the smelly dad is very conscious. He didn't even wait for me to ask him again to compensate this baby. He took the initiative to propose. I want to take this baby to Aunt Yifei's house to play with Sister October. When Joshi said this, many people had a very bad premonition in their hearts. They guessed what she might say next. However, no one spoke to stop her. Yang Mi and Dilraba looked at each other. In the end, they hesitated to speak. Anyway, we were all embarrassed. It is better to have fun alone than to have fun together, so let's do it together. And in Kyoto, in a luxurious villa, in the living room, a woman wearing home clothes, plain makeup but still as beautiful as a fairy, suddenly stood up. She was the national goddess, the fairy sister Lu Yifei in people's mouth. And beside Lu Yifei, watching the live broadcast with her, was a she looks like a beautiful middle-aged woman in her 30s. Lu Yifei's beautiful mother, Lu Xiaoli. Over the years, her skin has gotten better and better, and she has become younger and younger. She has been mistaken for her daughter by passers-by several times. When Lu Yifei stood up, she also stood up immediately. They all wanted to stop Joshi and continue talking. What a pity. The two of them were not at the scene, and they were motivated but powerless. Even if they made a phone call, it was obviously too late. Please customize it, please complete it, and ask for all your support and motivation. Yang Mi, my daughter catches ghosts. Scared millions of viewers. Author, Tianyi Madman. Chapter 92. The most disgusting thing is coming. After arriving at Aunt Yifei's house, he actually let me and Sister October watch cartoons outside. He said he had something to discuss with Aunt Yifei, and then left us alone. Joshi's words are not surprising. The shocking news that everyone expected but was still shocked was revealed. That's right. I welcomed Dad happily. But Dad just kissed me, huh? Joshi, the little sword fairy in white on the side, also added a few words very unhappily. Yang Mi and Diliriba. She had already started covering her face, trying not to laugh out loud. Others had astonished expressions on their faces. Especially Wang Zhenjiao, who has black lines all over his face. Although the kid said it, there is nothing wrong with it. But this is a live broadcast. There are many male fans in the live broadcast room who really can't hold it anymore. Ah! 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 Just kill me. The hatred for seizing my wife is irreconcilable. I want to die together with that big pig's hoof. 3 views exploded. At Damimai, I had already begun to collapse. When I arrived at Reba, I thought it was over, but I didn't expect that there would be a fairy sister. The city knows how to play. Tears of envy, jealousy, and hatred flowed from the corners of my mouth. That is my fairy sister, my Zhaolinger, the goddess I dare not blaspheme in my dreams. Woohoo, why is this happening? What I cannot accept the most is, Damimai and Reba, after knowing these things, instead of being angry, they were still covering their mouths and laughing, as if they had known about it for a long time, and were even used to it. Sure enough, as long as a man has strength, he can do whatever he wants. That damn big pig trotter is rich and capable, and yet he is so strong on a horse. Yes. Brothers, look at it. This world is about to be reshuffled. The world of spiritual practice is definitely a world where the weak eat the strong and strength is respected. Another day of envy for Damimai and Reba. I really hope to have a strong man like that big pig's hooves. Upstairs, if you just want those big pig hooves, just say so. Bah, don't you want to? He is a peerless hero who can charge 3 times without falling. You forgot the last time Reba called and said that 3 people fought with 1 person and lost. I feel that the battle was more fierce than this 124. Ah! Stop talking, my heart is broken into pieces, these 3 goddesses are all in my heart. Kyoto, in a luxurious villa. Lu Yifei, the fairy sister that people call her. My face was flushed, and I felt like I didn't even see the barrage. I was sitting at home, feeling embarrassed from heaven. Fortunately, there are no outsiders around me. And Luziali on the side. Then he patted his chest and breathed a sigh of relief with lingering fear. What on earth did the stinky man do that day? He actually made Xiao Shii so angry and embarrassed all of us. When he comes back, I will definitely not be able to spare him. Lu Yifei said angrily. As if the pillow in her hand was the smelly man. She squeezed it hard and rubbed it. Really? Then mommy will help you teach him a lesson. Luziali on the side also echoed. At the same time, she was extremely vigilant in watching every move of Zhou Shii and Zhou Xiu in the live broadcast. She was afraid that she would say something sarcastic again. This time, Sister October and I were really angry. The kind that can't even be coaxed. After Bad Dad came out, my sister October and I agreed not to pay any attention to him. Let him lose 2 close-fitting little cotton-padded jackets at the same time. Hum. Just to coax us. The Bad Dad was so mysterious that he took us to a small dark room. Said let's watch something fun. I found out later. It turns out that Dad is actually studying how to use science to predict the future. That is, using computers, combined with the I Ching Bagua and so on, to predict what will happen in the future. When Zhou Shii said this, the whole live broadcast room was filled with the word outrageous. Although I have known for a long time that this man is unreliable. But you can't use such nonsense to coax children. Science. Predicting the future? Computer, deducing the I Ching gossip? You can't think of it? Yang Mi and Dili Rebo finally stopped laughing. They had disgust on their faces. This stinky man often makes such messes. Come to fool the children. My daughter was brought up by him. As for the one on the ground, Junko Kuroba, with only one head exposed. Her mood was the most complicated at this time. What on earth are these 2 little ancestors talking about? I really can't understand. Is it really me who has a problem with my understanding? I don't have a good IQ. But I also graduated from university and am an upright graduate student. And at this moment, Zhou Shii was talking, suddenly put his hand into the small cloth bag in front of her. This is my father, who used a computer to deduce the 8 diagrams of the I Ching. The scene predicted using the birthday horoscopes of my sister October and me. See for yourselves. While speaking, Zhou Shii had a prismatic lens in her hand. She stretched out her hand and threw it gently. The prismatic lens flew into the air, blooming with streaks of milky white brilliance. Finally, in the dark night sky, a huge light curtain was formed, covering hundreds of square meters. This scene shocked everyone. They were extremely shocked. But what shocked them even more was the picture of the light curtain. Wearing a red wedding dress, Kuroba Junko came out of the darkness. She lifted her red hijab, revealing the appearance of the old village chief's grandmother. Everyone around was scared to death. These pictures, everyone was too scared. Familiar. Didn't it just happen? But why did Joshi say that this was predicted by his father? Some people believe it, some are doubtful, and some people don't believe it at all. They also speculate that this must be the video just now. I don't know if it was predicted by Joshi what method was used to obtain the prismatic crystal body, coupled with such high-end and atmospheric light curtains and special effects. Pretending to be his unreliable father, he predicted the future scene. But soon, everyone I realized something was wrong, because the picture in the light curtain was wrong. In that light curtain, the two sisters Joshi and Joshia were not as calm as before. They watched with cold eyes from beginning to end, and even urged Kurobajun they took action. Instead, they looked at Kuroya Junko with vigilance and came in front of them, especially when Kuroya Junko snatched the remaining soul of Taoist Suanyun. The two sisters took action to stop him at the same time. Yujunza didn't dare to resist at all. She just pretended to snatch the remaining soul of Taoist Suanyun. Seeing that the situation was not right, she gave up and directly used ninjutsu and disappeared. At the same time, the man disguised as the photographer, Mako Kuroba, had already taken advantage of the two sisters to only focus on the front. He successfully took a dagger coated with poison and kidnapped Diliriba. He also threatened Diliriba's life and asked everyone to let the two of them go. Leave. That's right. All of this is exactly the same as what Junko Kuroba just said, their sister's plan. And, they seem to have succeeded. Sisters Joshi and Joshio, because they take care of Diliriba, their lives were in danger. They didn't dare to take action at all. They could only watch Kuroba Junko and Kuroba Mako step by step away from the crowd. At the same time, they used ninjutsu to prepare to escape. But, just when they wanted to use it during the ninjutsu, a familiar huge palm shadow appeared behind them. There was also a body protecting divine light, covering Diliriba's whole body. Bang bang. Pang pang. After two soft sounds, Kuroba Junko and Kuroba Mako were all crushed into a ball of blood mist by the huge palm shadow. The kind of soul that is completely destroyed, not even leaving the chance to become a ghost or reincarnate. The picture on the light screen ends here. But both the people at the scene and the more than 50 million online viewers in the live broadcast room. But his eyes were fixed there, and it took him a while to react. It's not that they reacted slowly, it's that all this was really too shocking. They had even suspected just now that someone had done something to put the replay up. But everything that follows proves it. That's not a replay. That feeling was very strange, something that had obviously just happened. But everyone saw another version. Moreover, someone got this version a few days ago. It's like traveling to a parallel world. The tearing feeling made it difficult for everyone to describe it in words. It also made everyone have to believe a fact. That damn big pig's hoof seems to really be able to predict the future and predict the future. No wonder Joshi and Joshi just now. When I saw Kuroba Junko appear, I was not surprised at all. He kept encouraging them to go through the process quickly. It turns out, they already knew the result. Kyoto, an unknown nursing home, indoor activity center. Boom. With a soft sound, a certain small bench was crushed to pieces by an old man. Oh my God. Who is the father of these two little girls? Can you really predict the future? Could it be that, he is the descendant of Zuch Wuhao? No. No descendant of Zuch Wuhao's family has this ability. More than just descendants. Mr. Wolong himself can only peek into the future when he predicts the future, but this guy just moved the image out. The two little girls just said, how did his father predict the future and use the computer to run the I Ching Bagua? This is also okay. Old, I am really old. Suddenly I can no longer see the world clearly. No wonder I can't find their information. With such extraordinary ability, it would be strange if we could find him if he didn't want to show up. After living for more than 300 years, I really want to become a disciple. Even if he is only in his 20s, I recognize the old man. TCH, you admit it? It doesn't matter whether someone is willing to accept you or not. These two female dolls, no matter how old they are, have been raised to be such monsters. You have old bones, what's the point of cultivating them? The old men and women, who are tens of thousands of years old in total, started to quarrel with each other again. There is no way. Predicting the future, even in the world of spiritual practice, it is an extremely explosive existence. For these old people bone-wise, the impact was severe. Everyone, stop arguing. The significance of this matter is more than that. The old man surnamed Kong with crane hair and boyish face waved his hand to interrupt everyone. When everyone heard his opening, they all listened attentively. I originally thought that the appearance of the first little girl and exposing matters in the spiritual world to the public eye is a coincidence. Now it seems. I'm afraid this matter is not that simple. The father of these two little girls is obviously a master of the world beyond our imagination. Everything that happened today, whether it is the exposure of the cultivation world or the exposure of the tombs of pre-Qin Chi practitioners, I'm afraid it's all under that person's control. That is to say, if he wanted to stop it, he could change everything and let ordinary people continue to live ordinary lives. But he chose not to stop it. He even let his wife and daughter get involved. The meaning here is thought-provoking. In my opinion, it is definitely related to the opening of Dixuanmen this time. If this is the case, this time the Great Mystic Gate opens, I am afraid it will be more powerful and have a more far-reaching impact than the last time the Great Mysterious Gate was opened in the Qin dynasty. We must go all out and be fully prepared. 9:53. The old man surnamed Kong finished speaking. The entire indoor activity center was eerily quiet. They also realized the seriousness of the problem. And similar things, all over China, all the major mountain clans. Even some sects abroad. It's happening in the family. People become better with old age. In the world of cultivation, the most indispensable thing is the old monsters who have lived for many years. Of course. These old monsters are also very confused now. As the most powerful and wisest, and the most powerful group of people. Originally, they played the role of chess players. The disciples under their command were their chess pieces. Through their own moves, they kept everything under their control, and the plan is in progress. Everyone is following their own footsteps and moving forward steadily. But this time, unknowingly. Why do I and others seem to be led by others? The one who has not shown up yet is only 20 years old. The mysterious man who is many years old, seems to have become the only chess player in this world. Even the original chess player, old monsters like himself, seem to have become chess pieces in his hands. Why? How can it be? There will be people who can predict the future. Impossible, absolutely impossible. The person who collapsed the most at the Shilifan village scene was still Junko Kuroba with only one head exposed. The scene just now, especially the moment when she and her sister were crushed together. It still continues to this day, in her it echoed in her mind. Her spirit was on the verge of collapse. The truth she wanted was already in front of her. But this truth was really too shocking and unbelievable. She really couldn't accept it? No, it's still wrong. In the video just now, we didn't declare our home address at all. How do you know our sisters' names? Besides, even if your father could predict the future, you can still take action in advance and solve us to avoid mistakes. But why do you have to wait for us to take action? After all, the previous scene was already different. Who can guarantee that the future will not be changed? Kuraba Junko was almost at a loss for words. Her eyes were red and she screamed crazily. I just said, there must be something wrong with her understanding. But she still refuses to admit it. Joshi I was a little disgusted and complained to Joshio on the side. I think. Maybe she doesn't have a problem with her understanding, but is just a naive person. I don't understand the mystery of Chi Mendungia or the 8 trigrams of the Book of Changes. After all, this is Sakurajima country, a small country, so it's normal that you can't understand it. Joshio was on the side and analyzed. Hearing this, Kuraba Junko felt a sweet sensation in her throat, and another mouthful of old blood spurted out. What is a simple dish? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Yang Mi, my daughter catches ghosts. Scared millions of viewers. Author, Tianyi Madman. Chapter 93. Kuraba Junko Children's Shoes from Sakurajima Country. Before you die, no matter how kind-hearted I am, I will answer your questions. You actually ask, why do we know your 2 names? Stupid little little Sakura. My dad can use a computer, combined with the I Ching Bagua, to predict a small segment of the future. Finding the names of the 2 of you through your photos is not a piece of cake. Stop talking about my dad. Even with my computer skills, I can easily find all kinds of information about you. Even, the secret word for your communication with Yulingman. My dad had cracked it long ago. And you said, are you afraid of changing things in the future? What a joke. Do you think the future is so easy to change? As long as we sisters are not tainted with cause and effect, and do not disturb the main thread. Even if there are some different episodes in the middle. The future will not change. So naturally we won't worry about Aunt Rebo being in danger. At last. You ask us, why do we have to wait for you to take action? We already told you the answer at the beginning. Only if you take action, can we become famous. Directly attack Sakurajima Kingdom and destroy Yulingman. My father said. If others do not offend me, I will not offend others. If someone offends me, I will cut the grass and root it out. If someone hasn't offended me yet, then wait until he offends me and eradicate the root of it. If someone still doesn't offend me, then find a way to make him offend me, and then eradicate it. Joshi I looked like a young adult, giving advice to the country, and said to Kuraba Junko. When she first heard what she said in front of her, Kuraba Junko was so depressed. How could she be beaten by this 5-year-old again? The little baby was educated. The most important thing is that she was unable to refute. Because what others said was clear and reasonable. She watched helplessly as her IQ was stepped on and rubbed by a 5-year-old child. I could only endure it silently. But as I listened, Kuraba Junko heard something was wrong. Her expression gradually became more exciting. What did you just say? Are you going to use this as an excuse to attack Sakurajima Kingdom, and destroy Yulingman? Go crazy. Do you know that it is a sect? Equivalent to your Chinese ones, the Huashan sect and the Imei sect have the same existence. Just the 2 of you. Do you still want to directly destroy a sect? I think it's more like being wiped out. Nonsense, you are definitely talking nonsense. Kuraba Junko's eyes almost popped out of her head. Her whole face was filled with disbelief. Everyone else's expressions were not so exaggerated at this moment, but they were similar. Some people believed what Joshi I said. But more people raised questions. After all, it was too outrageous and unrealistic. Including the major sects and clans in China, they also had the same idea. Just think that Joshi I was scaring that Kuraba Junko. I want to get more information. Of course. There are 2 sects, and they are in a very bad mood right now. The Huashan sect and the Imei sect are almost going crazy. Why, use us as an example again. Co-authored by us. It's done. You have a special unit of measurement for judging strength. You really don't want to get involved, okay. Not long after, the Mercedes business station wagon, followed by 3 buses. Under the watch of many villagers in Shilifen village, they set sail again in the night. Just compared to before. This time there was one more person in the car. The 10 billion little sword fairy, Zhou Xiu. In addition, Zhou Xiu also had new changes. Next to her original small cloth pocket, there was another small black cloth pocket. This is the treasure on Kuroba Junko's body, called the Yuling bag. Specially used to store ghosts. When she got this, Zhou Xiu was extremely happy. What I have in mind is to catch many evil ghosts to move bricks and screws. But he couldn't find a way to store the ghost's ghost. Now with this Yuling bag, it's a perfect solution. In the spirit bag at this time, there were 2, no, it was a half Yun spirit. They are the whole Kuroya Junko and half of Swanyun Taoist. Baby. Were the scenes just now really predicted by your father using a computer and combining it with the 8 trigrams of the Book of Changes? This sounds ridiculous. If it were true, wouldn't you already know what you would experience along the way? Yang Mi felt like she was in a dream, still a little unbelievable. Her stinky husband was so miraculous that he could even predict the future. Of course, Mom. At that time, my sister October and I were standing on the edge. I watched my father mess around for a long time and predicted the scene. But at that time, we didn't know when the scene would happen. Until the afternoon. I saw that, the fake female cameraman got in the car. Only then did I realize that the scene predicted by my father should appear soon. At that time, my baby, I was very excited. It's just that, baby, I didn't alert the snake. Because Dad studied their information. It is said that Yuling sect is a very bad section. The Nanjing massacre had their shadow behind it. Their sect leader, in order to practice the spirit control kung fu, killed hundreds of thousands of innocent civilians in China. And collected all their souls to prevent them from reincarnation. Dad also said that he would take advantage of this opportunity to become famous as a teacher. Let me or Sister October solve that very bad Yuling sect. After all, it was their disciples who attacked us first. Even if we destroy them, Sakurajima country has nothing to say. Zhou Xiu said word by word, very seriously. Zhou Xiu on the side, holding the red sword in her arms, nodded in agreement. But Diliriba and Yang Mi were dumbfounded. Little 11, are you really going to Sakurajima country to challenge the soul-resisting sect? No. Definitely not. Didn't that Sakurajima country devil just say that? Their sect is as powerful as our Huashan sect and Imei section. Even if I don't understand spiritual practice, I still know the names of the Huashan sect and the Imei sect. Dilriba objected righteously. Yes, baby. This thing is outrageous. You and little October are both still children. To deal with an entire sect? It is simply ridiculous and outrageous. Is your stinky father crazy? No, I absolutely disagree. Yang Mi also spoke at the side, with an extremely determined attitude. The audience in the live broadcast room was even more excited. I thought that the 2 little ancestors were joking when they said those words. They were used to scare Ying. It's from Island Girls. I didn't expect, they were serious. Mom, Aunt Reba. Don't worry, Daddy won't lie to us. We'll set off early tomorrow morning. Hum hum. Correct. That person from Yulingman should also see this live broadcast. Let me tell you in advance, be prepared. Tomorrow morning, this baby and Sister October will go and kill you. Zhou Xi's attitude was also very resolute. She even waved her white and tender little fists at the camera. She aggressively demonstrated and declared war on Sakurajima Kingdom's Yulingmen. She even asked others to prepare. What to prepare? Wash your neck and prepare. Really, don't be too outrageous. Yang Mi and Diliriba heard Zhou Shiai's words. They were melancholy. They just covered their faces. But they didn't say anything else. They just made up their minds. If these two little guys mentioned this matter again tomorrow morning, they would definitely not let them leave. This time the journey was very smooth. I no longer encountered any ghosts beating the wall, or ghosts wearing sackcloth and mourning carrying a red sedan chair. Not long after, they arrived at the hotel booked by the program crew. It's been a tiring day traveling, and we've experienced so much. Everyone went to bed early. Yang Mi and Zhou Shiai's room. Diliriba and Zhou Shio's room. But they slept peacefully. But some people couldn't sleep. Wang Zhenjiao and a group of staff. They all stayed up late washing their pants. Especially Wang Zhenjiao, who was so frightened that he peed 4 pairs of pants. Make him want to cry without tears. While washing my pants, I couldn't help but sigh many times. I just want to do a variety show quietly. It's really difficult. Shocking. Lu Yifei had a secret marriage and had a child for a long time, and her partner turned out to be the same person as Yang Mi. The two daughters are only 1 year apart. The tomb of the great hero Cao has finally been found. Who would have thought that underneath Cao's mausoleum, there is an even older mausoleum? Have you ever heard of pre-Qin Chi refiners? Do you know what a cultivator is and what a cultivator is? Sister Zhou Shiai and Zhou Shio's class has started. The shameless scumbag actually dated Yang Mi, Dilriba, and Lu Yifei on the same night. Who will take care of this shameless pig's hoof? A prophet who predicts the future? Using a computer combined with the I Ching Bagua, he actually predicted the future. Who is the father of Zhou Shiai and Zhou Shio? Behind the Nanjing massacre, it was the Sakurajima Kingdom Yuling sect that was at work. Zhou Shiai and Zhou Shio, a series of layouts finally revealed the truth. A mysterious man controls the world, and his 2 5- and 6-year-old daughters scream and kill. What are they going to do? Zhou Shiai and Zhou Shio put down their bold words and planned to attack Sakurajima Kingdom and destroy the Yulingmen. Is it childlike nonsense or whimsical? All major media platforms on the internet, self-media channels, public accounts, etc. Various short compositions are still emerging, including hot search lists on Weibo, Qiandu, Douyin, etc. Keywords such as Yang Mi, Zhou Shiai, Lu Yifei, Zhou Shio, Diliriba, Yulingmen, etc. also continue to dominate the list. This is destined to be a sleepless night. People were discussing it heatedly, and there were all kinds of speculations and opinions. However, most people still remain skeptical about this matter. After all, Zhou Shiai and Zhou Shio are a 5-year-old girl and a 6-year-old girl. To challenge a large sect comparable to Mount Huashan and Imei. I really can't imagine that scene. If they could also gather a sect with similar power, it would still be possible. This is destined to be a sleepless night. Everyone suddenly learned that ghosts really exist in this world. How can I sleep peacefully? Who knows if there is a ghost Apiao standing next to you, under your bed, in your mirror, behind your curtains? It is precisely because of this. The live broadcast of Parent-Child Travel Diary has obviously ended, and the camera is pointed at the sky. The number of viewers in the live broadcast room not only did not decline, but also showed an increase. It's impossible to leave. In the whole world, where is the safest place now? Of course it's by the side of Little 11 and Sister October. After all, he is a little ghost hunter and a little sword fairy in white. Even if I can't be with them, I still have to be in this live broadcast room. There are these 2 amulets. Only then can you fall asleep and sleep more peacefully. And you can watch the live broadcast tomorrow morning as soon as possible. Why not? One night passed so quietly. Early the next morning, the two guest room doors of Diliriba and Yangmi were opened at the same time. Zhou Shii and Zhou Shii walked out of it as if they had a tacit understanding. Sister October, let me go. Zhou Shii pulled Zhou Shii's sleeves and said coquettishly with a milky voice. No, I'm my sister, I'll go. Zhou Shii didn't accept this trick at all and said in an extremely firm tone. The older sister should let the younger sister go. Let me go, Sister October is the best. Zhou Shii continues to attack with her little milky voice. I can leave you with other things. Fighting is not an option, I'll do it. Zhou Shii also insisted on her own opinion and refused to give in. For a moment, the two of them were in a deadlock. The audience in the live broadcast room was dumbfounded. Wow, I saw two stunning little beauties early in the morning, it was really eye-catching. These two sisters, the more they look at each other, the more they look like smaller versions of De Mimi and Lu Tianxian. It's another day when I envy others for having daughters, and there are two of them. Wait a minute, what are the two of them arguing about? Why are we still arguing? It seems like they are fighting to do something, damn it. They don't really want to go to Sakurajima Kingdom and destroy the Yuling sect. Wang Zhaozhao. How is it possible? Just the two of them? It must be a joke, or you may have misinterpreted it. It looks like it's true. And they are not two people, they are going alone, and this is what they are fighting for. 1. Go alone? Crazy, absolutely crazy. One person challenges a sect? And she's still a 5 or 6-year-old girl. Why did I think of that scene, and suddenly I felt so burning, passionate, and exciting, damn it, I seem to be going crazy too. If they really kill each other, destroy that stupid Yuling sect, and avenge hundreds of thousands of our Huaxia Nanjing people, they will be my gods from now on. Haha. Just think about it. That's a sect comparable to Huashan and Ime. And it's still in a foreign country, just having fun. The audience in the live broadcast room exploded early in the morning. However, there are still many people who don't really believe in sisters Zhou Shii and Zhou Shii. He will really kill Sakurajima Kingdom and destroy Yulingmen. After all, it's too ridiculous, too outrageous, too unbelievable. After so many years, people in the Chinese cultivation world should all know that this Yuling sect is the mastermind behind the Nanjing massacre. But they could only watch helplessly as the Yuling sect grew stronger and stronger. If they could be destroyed, many people in China, or sects, would probably have died long ago. How could they wait while two little girls took action? There will definitely be a lot involved here, and it won't be that simple. Even if sisters Zhou Shii and Zhou Shii really have such intentions, I'm afraid they will only achieve nothing. People from all the major sects and clans had the same view when they saw this scene. There was even some scorn. In recent years, there have been many passionate people who want to deal with the Yuling sect. But in the end, everything failed. What our major sects and clans cannot do, can you two little girls do it? Isn't it true that we, the people, are worse than two little girls? It is simply a fantasy and extremely ridiculous. Yang Mi, my daughter catches ghosts. Scared millions of viewers. Author, Tianyi Madman. Chapter 94. Rock paper scissors. Okay, just simple stone cloth. Sisters Zhou Shii and Zhou Shii argued to no avail and refused to give in to each other for a long time. Finally a consensus was reached and a solution was found. That's right, it's rock paper scissors. This gives everyone an unreal feeling. Are you planning to go to Sakurajima Kingdom to deal with the Yuling sect? A large sect comparable to Mount Ime in Huashan. Why is it that in your hands, it's like playing house? Haha, I won. A cold voice sounded. Obviously, it was the little swordsman in white. Joshua won. Humph, if you lose, you lose. This baby is willing to admit defeat. Joshua pouted, her eyes were slightly red, and she tried hard not to let her tears fall. That pitiful appearance broke the hearts of countless people in the live broadcast room. And at this moment, Joshi's eyes suddenly lit up. He walked directly in front of the camera lens and took a slap in the face. The little 11 fans in the live broadcast room were so shocked that they screamed early in the morning. How many celebrities and internet celebrities took photos of their faces, it was too horrible to watch, and there was a huge car rollover scene. But Joshua is definitely a god-level scene. No makeup, and even this morning, she hadn't had time to wash her face. But it is still as finely carved as jade, and it is extremely white and tender. It's just that people don't quite understand. What is this little 11 going to do? Why do I feel that there is a cunning light shining in her big dark eyes? Uncle, you are new to the shift, follow the cameraman. Joshua smiled like a flower and said with a milky voice. Yes, but I am a real cameraman, not a fake one. The photographer was so frightened that he almost peed his pants. Yesterday, the fake PD photographer was crushed into blood mist by a huge palm print. He watched it on the spot and vividly remembered it. Now I hear Joshua, if you ask him like this, can you not panic? This little ancestor, don't make another mistake. He thought he was also a fake cameraman, so he slapped him to death. Everyone in the live broadcast room was also shocked. He was just killed yesterday evening, a fake follow-up cameraman. Another fake today? Can't these people change their identities and disguise themselves? They have to be under people's noses. The most dangerous thing is the safest thing, right? But the last one was already screwed up. Yes. Uncle, don't be afraid, I know you are really following the photographer. I feel like it's too hard for you to follow us. Besides, my sister is going to Sakurajima country in October, and the crane can't accommodate so many people. Let me be the photographer today. Joshua said this. Everyone immediately understood what she had planned. She lost in rock paper scissors 843, and she actually wanted to follow Joshua to Sakurajima Kingdom and Yulingman in this way. Ah! This machine is very heavy. And if something goes wrong, I'm afraid you won't know how to operate it. The photographer said, a little at a loss. Do not worry. 11, I am very strong. Let alone a mere camera, I can carry even a mountain. Joshua said and started to take over. What the photographer could do was to hand over the camera. Joshua watched quietly from the side, but did not stop Joshua's sexy operation. Not long after, a pure white crane landed at the door of the hotel. Sisters Joshua and Joshua. One carried a red sword on her back. The other carried a follow-up camera. They stepped up. The white crane unfolded, and there were many people eating melons below. In the exclamation, disappeared into the sky. Damn it! Are they really going to fight to Sakurajima country? It seems that he is serious now, and he really can't be more serious. This is too fierce and awesome. Just do it, even if the other party is a sect. Obviously, this was the instruction from their unreliable father. What on earth was that damn big pig's trotter thinking, letting two such young children go to Sakurajima Kingdom like this? I feel like he may have been following me in the dark. The two daughters are so strong, that big pig's hooves should be stronger enough to protect the daughters thoroughly. Hope so. But if little 11 and October sister get even half of their hair injured, I will fight for that big pig's hooves. Damn it, this crane is so fast. Why did you end up at the beach? Oh my god. It's not that fast on a plane, right? Airplane? It's not that fast even if you're riding a rocket. The world of practitioners is indeed beyond our imagination. When everyone in the live broadcast room was talking about it, The crane has actually entered the vast and boundless sea area. Everyone couldn't help but be shocked. At the same time, the entire Sakurajima kingdom panic. Really panicked. Yesterday night, Zhou Xi and Zhou Xiao said they would go to Sakurajima kingdom tomorrow and destroy the Yulingmen. Although the senior officials and citizens of Sakurajima kingdom were shocked, they did not take it too seriously. How can two children talk accurately? And, this is simply impossible. They still know how powerful the Yuling sect is. CFFF. How can two little girls be able to shake it? Who would have thought? Get up early this morning. They are really coming, and they are coming so fast. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Sakurajima State immediately dialed the number of the Chinese embassy. Express serious protest over this matter. As for the embassy, it seemed that they had already received orders from above. The reply is only two short sentences. The protest is invalid. The secular world is not allowed to interfere at will in the affairs of the spiritual world. Otherwise, China will be judged as a war between Sakurajima and China. Immediately mobilize the whole country to fight back. Sisters Zhou Xi and Zhou Xiao did not know what was happening below. They don't care either. Because Dad said before. As long as we are reasonable, the teacher will be famous. Anyone who dares to stop them can be killed directly. Even if there is any change in the garrison of the rice country, that would be great. The side of Sakurajima country has been solved. Just go directly to the country of rice. Sister October, you big white crane flies so fast. By the way, have you thought about how to deal with the Yulingmen when the time comes? Tell us your plan. On top of the crane flying between the long white clouds. Zhou Xi, the temporary photographer, is quite conscientious. Not only did he hold up a protective cover to facilitate the whole process of filming, but he also conducted interviews like a young reporter. And during the interview, there was another wave of slaps in the face. The audience in the live broadcast room was feasting their eyes and admiring. She is indeed the daughter of the fairy sister. This skin that can be broken by blows, these exquisite and beautiful facial features, this the aloof temperament is really amazing. And you can also see the shadow of the fairy sister Lu Yifei. She is really beautiful and worthy of the name of the little sword fairy in white. No plan. I only have one sword, that's enough. Zhou Xiao said, pointing to the long sword behind her. Oops. It's boring. Sister October, don't you want to play something interesting? So many years. It's not easy for us to take action once. Why don't you have a good time? Let's try everything Dad taught us. Zhou Xi persuaded with some reluctance. In no mood. Zhou Xi was not moved at all. Zhou Xi was so angry that she couldn't help pouting. The audience in the live broadcast room laughed like crazy. These two sisters are really amazing. The 5-year-old Zuzu Zhou Xi, the little ghost master, is quirky and has a restless heart. No wonder she is obsessed with catching ghosts, moving bricks and screws, and making money to buy dolls. Is it money she lacks? All she wants is this process is just fun and interesting. Zhou Xiao, the little sword fairy in white who is just 6 years old, is mainly like a fairy with a cold temperament. She doesn't talk much, and she tries not to push when she can. On the contrary, she and her mother Lu Yifei, quite to resemble. Arrive. As the crane slowed down and began to lower its body, the two sisters had arrived at their destination. Sakurajima Country, Kyushu Island, Hongxian County, Bamboo Garden, Mount Aso. This place is located in the Pacific Rim volcano and seismic belt. There are a total of 5 volcanoes, namely Nakadake, Takadake, Kishimadake, Bamakodake, and Nikko, 5 volcanoes, forming a surrounding the momentum formed the central crater mound group. Therefore, it is also called, Aso 5 Mountains. People in China had no reaction when they saw Mount Aso, or even had no idea. But the people of Sakurajima Kingdom saw the live broadcast suddenly. The picture of the Aso 5 mountains appeared, but it was a bit confusing and messy. Here, although the mountains gather together and the scenery is pleasant, I have never heard of any sects located there. Soon, the crane stopped in mid-air. Joshi I and Joshio jumped lightly and descended from the back of the crane. The place where they landed was on a lush mountain road with verdant peaks. Not far away, there was it looks like a building with a sense of age. You can still vaguely see the writing on it. The color is like Kuminosa Shrine. Not to mention the audience from Sakurajima Kingdom, even the audience from China can recognize it. Because of these, the characters are all traditional Chinese characters or ancient Chinese characters. Previously, Sakurajima Kingdom did not even have its own characters. Therefore, many ancient buildings and classics used Chinese characters. Even later, Sakurajima Kingdom wanted to disconnect the relationship. I created my own text. But it is of no use. Because their history is written in Chinese characters. If you want to prove the authority of your country, you must study history. If you want to study history, they have to face the ancient Chinese characters. Even to this day, Sakurajima Kingdom has not been able to put aside its relationship with the ancient Chinese characters. This is something that makes them very depressed. Didn't the people at Yulingmen receive the news? Why is there no reaction at all? This baby was born yesterday evening, but he was already in the live broadcast room. Tell them very clearly. We're going to kill them. Get them ready. Temporary cameraman Joshi complained with some dissatisfaction. She thought that as soon as the two of them landed, a group of Yuling sect disciples would come and surround them, and then a melee would break out. She didn't expect it to be so quiet. Just go in and take a look and you will know. Joshio, the little sword fairy in white, was as cold as ever. After finishing speaking lightly, he stepped on the moss-covered stone steps in front of him. GG. GG. On both sides of the road, there are dense forests intertwined with ancient trees. There was originally a state of complete silence. Suddenly, there were two cries, like weeping and complaining. It made people's scalp numb and very uncomfortable. And with the appearance of this voice, a big black bird, more than 2 meters tall, appeared directly in front of the mossy path at some point. The big black bird looked like an enlarged version of a crow. The difference is that it actually has 3 legs under its feet. And its eyes were as red as blood. From a distance, they look like 2 red lanterns, very conspicuous in the originally dark dense forest. The people of China were startled by the sudden appearance of this huge crow. But the people of Sakurajima Kingdom, this time they were boiling. Yatagarasu. It turned out to be the legendary divine bird, Yatagarasu, the messenger of the sun god Amaterasu, symbolizing the divine power of nature, guidance, and intervention. In the mythology of Sakurajima Kingdom, people can become Buddhas after death. But if you are unable to become a Buddha, you will become a resentful spirit. Yatagarasu is the one who punishes these resentful spirits. According to legend, the first emperor of Sakurajima Kingdom, Emperor Jimyu, got lost inexplicably on the Yuno Koto. Yatagarasu once showed up to guide the emperor and was rewarded. Even now, you can buy exquisite talismans with Yata bird patterns in Kumino Santon. Drive away disasters and evil spirits, and bless peace. Of course there is another way to say it. It is said that Yatagarasu is actually a descendant of Sakurajima Kingdom and Amaterasu. It is recorded in Kojiki and Sakurajima Kingdom Tushoki. Amaterasu met a flower girl named Kono Hanakiaki on the Takekiho mountain. Then Amaterasu felt that the scenery here was good, so he enjoyed the scenery with the flower girl. Several cubs were born, seeds. They are Huajian Kinming, Hakohuo Huakumi Izan, Huo Mingming. Later, the little cubs Hongyan Huo Huo met Zun, and watched the scenery with Poseidon's daughter Toyotama Hime. She gave birth to a little cub called Cormorant. The little cub inherited the will of his ancestors and also liked to look around at the scenery. He gave birth to Anahi no Ming, Waka Onuma no Ming, Gokais no Ming, and Ono Hiro no Ming. Ono Hiro no Ming, also known as the god Nippon Iwa Hiko. It's this big black crow. Even though this little kid has messed up blood, he is still a crow. But in Sakurajima Kingdom, the three magical artifacts in mythology, the Yatagarasu mirror, are said to be hung on the chest of the first Yatagarasu that appeared, which shows the ferocious origin of this crow. So, almost all the people in Sakurajima Kingdom know Yatagarasu. And a large number of people feel that this magical bird is a descendant of Amaterasu. It is also equivalent to his ancestors, but before. About this ancestral bird. All they saw were patterns, written records, or film and television dramas. Never thought about it? One day I will really see the true existence of this ancestral divine bird. It just makes them feel weird. All this happened because of two little kids from China. Without them, I might never be able to see the legendary ancestral bird, Yatagarasu, in this life. But no matter what, the people of Sakurajima Kingdom are excited, crazy and excited. Some people put their mobile phones and computers directly in front of them and carried out the worship ceremony crazily. I wanted to bring the whole family over, someone even quickly put out a fruit plate for sacrifice. However, just when all the citizens of Sakurajima Kingdom were paying homage to the sacred bird Yatagarasu in the live broadcast room, Chi-la! A flash of sword light flashed. Their divine bird Yatagarasu was split straight down the middle and split into two. And not far away, Joshia withdrew one of her green jade fingers. In an instant, the entire people of Sakurajima Kingdom. It's more lively and exciting. We are worshipping. Where is our ancestor, the sacred bird? Why are you kowtowing? The ancestral divine bird has become two halves. Yang Mi, my daughter catches ghosts. Scared millions of viewers. Author, Tianyi Madman. Chapter 95. Damn it, something shook me, where's that big crow? He was split in half by Sister October's finger sword. He is indeed the little swordsman in white. Wait, why did so many words about Sakurahima's national bird language suddenly appear? What are they trying to do? I translated it, and it seemed to mean that the big crow just now is a descendant of their Amaterasu, their ancestors' divine bird. They were worshipping and offering various sacrifices, but they were cut in half by Sister October with a sword. They were very angry, very angry. Haha, so that's it? No wonder Zairi, Sakurahima's Japanese devils are so excited. How could the descendant of Amaterasu from Sakurajima country be a bird, and a big crow? I want to know what he did to the crow back then. You don't know how weird the customs of Sakurajima country are. Tanaka was built in Tanaka, Inu was built in Inu, Matsushita was built in Matsushita, Watanabe was built in Watanabe, Yamaguchi was built in Yamaguchi, and Tekashita was built under the bamboo forest. Damn it, it suddenly dawned on me. Even their descendants are so awesome, their gods are even more awesome, so they can understand. In my opinion, our Chinese only have Su Xian, Dong Yang, and Ning Keichin who can compete with Sakurajima Kingdom. Can't compare, can't compare. Su Xian's wife Bai Niangzi, even though she is a fairy, she also turned into a human form. This big crow, ahem. What happened? Are the people of Sakurajima country crazy? There are more and more comments and comments. Nonsense, it's not because they translated and understood what you said, and then became even more angry. Haha, Baga, brothers, work harder. Continue to provide benefits to the people of Sakurajima country. Don't worry, we have already come to our Chinese live broadcast room, how can we still lose to them? Come on, please listen to me tell you more exciting stories about my ancestors in my childhood. At this time, more than 60 million people were online at the same time in the live broadcast room. This data was available early in the morning, which would have been unthinkable in previous live variety shows. Of course, people from the Sakurajima Nation continued to pour in and contributed a lot. It's just that, when these people first came in, they were too quiet to speak. After all, it is someone else's home field, and it is still China. They themselves know very well what kind of status they have in the hearts of the Chinese people, inferior to pigs and dogs. But then, watching him helplessly, the ancestral sacred bird that he was worshipping was split in half by Zhou Xiao's sword light. They couldn't sit still. Started protesting in the live broadcast room. Who would have thought? It's okay not to protest. This protest can be regarded as poking a hornet's nest. Tens of millions of people in the live broadcast room frantically exposed their dark history and attacked them in groups. He scolded them until they were furious, but he was unable to parry or even refute. Fortunately at this time, in the live broadcast room, new changes appeared again. Everyone was concentrating on watching the live broadcast and had no time to post comments or comments. The firepower of the Chinese people has weakened slightly. And this change has made the people of Sakurajima country quite excited. Their ancestral divine bird that had just been split in half was resurrected. No. To be precise, it is not dead. After being chopped into two halves by Zhou Xiao using her finger as a sword, a layer of black light flashed across Yatagarasu's body. The whole body was like a ball of black mud, slowly melting and then reorganizing. It became its original appearance again. With 3 feet on the ground, 2 red eyes stared at Zhou Xiao. His eyes were a bit sharper and colder than before. What the hell is this thing? It's actually made up of countless resentful spirits. It's a pity that it's a broken bird, it can't move bricks and screws. This baby is too lazy to catch me. Temporary photographer Zhou Xiao started complaining again. The people of Sakurajima Kingdom were speechless after translating in real time. The ancestral divine bird that he and others worshipped was actually disliked. GG. Yatagarasu seemed to have heard Zhou Xiao's complaints. He opened his mouth and let out a strange, bloody scream. Then, it spread its wings, which were more than 2 meters long. Suddenly, they swooped in the direction of Zhou Xiao and Zhou Xiao. Fly halfway. It turned into puddles of mud just like before. No, it's not bad. It's one resentful spirit after another. This resentful spirit looks like a human, but has no arms or legs. There is only one big head and a long body. On the big head, there are no eyes, nose, or ears. There was only a big pale mouth, which opened rapidly while flying. Howling, it came towards Zhou Xiao and Zhou Xiao to bite. There are so many of them, so densely packed, there may be hundreds of them. And because of the appearance of these resentful spirits, this side of the world was filled with sinister winds, and the colors of the world changed, as if they had entered a cursed ghost realm. Even through the screen, the audience in the live broadcast room was shocked. GG. The scalp-numbing roar resounded throughout the world. Zhou Xiao and Zhou Xiao were completely surrounded by hundreds of resentful spirits. It's boring. Why are these resentful spirits useless? It doesn't matter if you don't use your eyes, nose, or anything like that. If you have no arms or legs, how can you move bricks and drive screws? The people of Sakurajima Kingdom are unreliable, not even the resentful ghosts and so on. Zhou Xiao began to complain wildly again. The Chinese people in the live broadcast room were dumbfounded. When did this little ancestor happen? Why are you still obsessed with catching ghosts, moving bricks, and screws? And the people of Sakurajima Kingdom? It has been affected again. What does it mean that we are unreliable? Even the resentful spirits and ghosts are not reliable. Can you please refrain from personal attacks? GG. GG. The strange screams became more and more miserable and dense. Hundreds of resentful spirits have arrived in front of sisters Joshii and Joshio, with a distance of less than 2 meters. Joshio, the little sword fairy in white, finally took action. I saw her 2 fingers together, using them as swords. On the white and tender green onion jade finger, there was something burning like a flame. The flames were small. Very, very small. It was about the size of a pea pod, and still erratic, as if it was going to go out at any moment. However, the moment those hundreds of resentful spirits saw the flames, they were like a mouse seeing a cat. The bloody and mournful ghost howl suddenly stopped. I didn't dare to rush forward anymore. I desperately want to turn around. But how could Joshio give them a chance? The reason why we let them get so close is to catch them all in one fell swoop. Bang! The small flame in Joshio's hand was infused with true energy. It turned directly into a short sword the size of a palm. The sword body and head are all made of flames, constantly spitting tongues of fire. Chi-chi! The palm-sized flame-tongue dagger turned into an after-image. They were flying around sisters Joshio and Joshii. Wherever you go. One by one, the resentful spirits were ignited, as yin spirit bodies. These resentful spirits are not afraid of physical attacks, and ordinary flames have no effect on them. But obviously, what Joshio sacrificed was no ordinary flame. Once infected, it's like gangrene attached to the bone. Constantly burning, swallowing up those resentful spirits. Bang bang bang. The sound of explosions continued. Hundreds of resentful spirits exploded into flames one after another and turned into nothingness, just in an instant. The resentful spirits that had been so dark just now all disappeared without a trace. The dark wind dissipated, and clarity returned to the world. The 8-foot crow appeared at the same spot again, but this time, it had lost all its feathers. It's like a big white goose that has been plucked. Even though its eyes were red, it was even angrier than before. It looks less mysterious and sinister, and even a little funny. This scene is for China's online audience. Although I was dazzled by it and cheered constantly. But it was not too shocking. After all, they had already seen it yesterday. The strength of the 2 sisters Joshii and Joshio. Just kidding, this is our little sword fairy in white, Sister October. How could he not even solve the first obstacle? Not to mention her, even the one who changed his career as a temporary photographer today, the little ghost hunter Xiao Shii. It should be easy to deal with. But, for the people of Sakurajima country, especially for the people of Sakurajima who saw this live broadcast room for the first time, the shock of the scene was like a thunderbolt. Not so long ago, when they saw their ancestor, the divine bird Yatagarasu, come back from the dead, the whole people were still celebrating and dancing, and then they started to crazily worship, offer sacrifices and pray. And when Yatagarasu split into hundreds of resentful spirits, they launched an attack on Joshio. The people of Sakurajima Kingdom were even more excited. Some people started bragging in the live broadcast room. See it? This is the true strength of our Sakurajima nation, Yatagarasu. What I did just now was just to play with those 2 children. Some people even started to provoke others by saying all sorts of evil things. The 2 children from Huaxia are so unlucky. If they encounter their ancestor, the divine bird, they will definitely die today. After they died, the bodies of these 2 little girls had to be hung up as a sacrifice, dedicated to their ancestors, the sacred bird, etc. It's just that they are blowing. I realized that the way things were painted seemed not quite right. Hundreds of resentful spirits didn't even touch the little girl's hair. It was extinguished by a small flame from someone else. And their ancestor, the divine bird, Yatagarasu. He also turned into a big white goose with all its feathers stripped off, all of a sudden. All the Sakurajima characters in the barrage area disappeared without a trace. But things don't end here. After dealing with those resentful spirits, the dagger made of flames did not stop at all. Continue to face the big white goose in front, Yatagarasu, and shoot away. Idiot. It turned out to be a 1,000-year-old fire. Stop it, little baby. Just when the short sword made of flames was about to pierce the body of the Yatagarasu, a middle-aged man's voice sounded. At the same time, there was a samurai sword falling from the air at a high speed. I thought he wanted to stop the flaming dagger from penetrating Yatagarasu's body. Unfortunately, he was obviously a step too late. Yatagarasu was also exhausted and couldn't dodge even if he wanted to. Chi-la. There was a soft sound. The flaming dagger passed directly through the body and returned to Joshio's hand. Look at the Yatagarasu again. Although it looks like nothing has changed on the outside, it still looks like a big white goose with its feathers plucked. Just the wound on his abdomen. It has begun to go out, breathing flames. The flaming dagger just now actually ignited Yatagarasu's body. Boom. After a burst of flames, the people of Sakurajima country, the sacred bird of their ancestor that they were worshipping, was completely wiped out. Wow, Sister October is so handsome. Little sword fairy in white, I will fight for you, you are my god. In the comment area yesterday, who said that Xiao Shii and Sister Yui really wanted to go to Sakurajima country, but they would live broadcast and drink Xiang's drink, and they still had to drink 3 kilograms. Yeah. I saw that comment too. Let's start broadcasting now. If you don't like it enough, please tell me. I run public toilets. Damn it. You guys are so disgusting, but I love it so much. Haha, I strongly urge it to be broadcast. Who was that guy on the road just now? You actually want to stop my Sister October? Really overestimating one's capabilities. The man said that the small flame in Sister October's hand was what kind of fire that lasted 10,000 years? Damn, that sounds like something awesome. It can't be something like a strange fire in a fantasy novel, right? Could it be that Sister October is not only the little sword fairy in white, but also the Emperor Yan who doesn't bully the poor young man? Haha. Victory in the first battle. The Chinese people in the comment area were beaming with joy, and they were celebrating with all kinds of fireworks crazily. As for the people of Sakurajima country who just appeared briefly, completely afraid to speak. And it's not just the barrage area and the comment area. At this time, there are many occasions in the entire Sakurajima kingdom, including the very lively Shibuya, Shinjuku or something. At this moment, everything became very quiet. He looked lifeless, as if 8 of his fathers had died. Although describing it this way is a bit exaggerated, it is actually true. I don't know how many people from Sakurajima country. At this time, I was holding my mobile phone and computer, watching the live broadcast room here. His face was gloomy, and he even cried bitterly. Moreover, they had just honored the Yatagarasu as the ancestral bird. It would not be an exaggeration to say that they felt as if 8 of their fathers had died. In terms of seniority, their ancestor is much more senior than their 8 fathers. Sakurajima country, Dongjing, Chiyoda district, in a secret meeting room. Led by the old emperor of Sakurajima kingdom, a large number of members of the Sakurajima kingdom's royal family are gathering here. However, these royal personnel look a bit strange. Missing arms and legs. 2 noses and 1 eye. There are also heads that are bigger than the body, bodies that look like a pig, etc. There are all kinds of weird things. For those who don't know, this is a gathering of the royal family members of Sakurajima kingdom. I thought it was some deformed old man holding an exchange conference somewhere. There is no way, in order to ensure the purity of the blood of the royal family. The royal family of Sakurajima kingdom never intermarry with foreigners, and all marriages are internalized. At this time, all royal personnel, under the leadership of the old emperor. The live broadcast of parent-child travel diary is being watched on a large crystal screen. There are also several professional translators standing by to translate the dialogue into Sakurahima's language. Just saw Yatagarasu appear. There was also warm applause here. I didn't expect Yulingman to be so powerful, releasing the gatekeeper bird at the beginning. But now, looking at the sacred bird Yatagarasu, first it turned into a big white goose with its feathers plucked. He was roasted again by someone else's fire. And it was baked until there wasn't even a dregs left. The temperature of the entire secret meeting room dropped to the extreme. All deformed people, no, all the members of the Sakurajima Kingdom's royal family. Everyone looked very embarrassed. Although physically deformed. But they still have some brains. You also know what it means to be embarrassed. The most important thing is, it's live now. It's so embarrassing to be looked at by tens of millions of people. 0. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Yang Mi, my daughter catches ghosts. Scared millions of viewers. Author, Tianyi Madman. Chapter 96. Sakurajima Country, Kyushu Island, Mount Aso. Bagaya Road. You two little kids from China, you are so brave. How dare you kill the guarding bird of my Yuling sect? The voice of the sun just now sounded again. At the same time, a middle-aged man wearing the ancient samurai costume of Sakurajima Kingdom flew down from the sky. He caught the katana just now and blocked it. He stood in front of Joshi-I and Joshi-U. This man looked just over 1.5 meters tall. He had short arms and legs, a short body, but a very long face. In addition, he had a strange tattoo on his head. The bun made his long face look like it was almost a quarter of his body. Wow wow wow. Is this a practitioner from Sakurajima Kingdom? I have long heard that the men of Sakurajima Kingdom are short, small, strange looking, and ugly. I didn't expect to be so short and ugly. Temporary photographer Joshi-I's milky voice rang out. She had no choice but to let herself loose in rock paper scissors and couldn't do anything. She was so bored that she could only work part-time as a commentator, complaining from time to time. Haha, Xiao Shi-I is trying to make me laugh to death. This mouth is too poisonous. I discovered that Xiao Shi-I's ethnic background is very serious. Even if he is very polite to our Chinese evil ghosts, he is not so polite to Sakurajima country. That damn big pig's hooves has been cultivated quite well. Haha. Xiao Shi-I was my real-time mouth substitute, and she said what I wanted to say. The people from Sakurajima country are really short, ugly, and strange. You can see it when watching some movies about Sakurajima country. Among female movie actors, there are many with good looks and figures, but the male movie actors are all ugly, and some are even very disgusting. You know what, Sakurahima's kind of movie is all about contrast. Ha 460 ha. The China Online viewers in the live broadcast room are still very happy. The online viewers of Sakurajima Kingdom were hit again. Why is this little girl carrying a camera firing a map cannon? But they are powerless to refute. Because that Sakurajima warrior was standing there. Facts speak louder than words. I don't know how many people hate the Sakurajima warrior. You look so ugly while riding a horse, why do you have to show up? Didn't you see someone carrying a camera? It's good now. The reputation of the entire Sakurajima Kingdom has been distorted by you alone. But how could they know? At this moment, this middle-aged warrior is the most confused and collapsed. He had just returned from a mission abroad. Just as he was about to enter Yuling Gate, he suddenly spotted two little girls. I ran into the deep mountains and wild forests, still speaking the Chinese language. One of them has a small body but is carrying a big camera, which looks a little out of place. The other one was carrying a crimson sword that was about the same height as her body. I don't know if it's real, or if it's a specially made prop for shooting video material. He hadn't figured out the situation yet, so he was going to quietly observe from above. Prepare to research the origins of these two little girls. If that doesn't work, capture them and take them to Yulingman. If these two little girls can practice, just give it to the sect leader or elder. They will love it. When the time comes, I will definitely get a very good reward. If you can't practice, lowly training is still very fun. Just when his mind was filled with random thoughts, suddenly I realized something was wrong. Why did Yatagarasu, the guardian bird of Yulingman, pop out on his own? This shouldn't be the case. Although he is a gatekeeper, this Yatagarasu is still very proud. Will not show up easily. Appearing in front of two little girls today? Just when he was puzzled, an even more shocking scene appeared. The little girl carrying the sword just moved her fingers. A sword light was gathered out of thin air, splitting Yatagarasu into two halves. These two little girls. He is actually a cultivator. And it looks like he has some strength. At least when he was 5 or 6 years old, he didn't have such fighting power. Of course, he didn't pay much attention. How could Yatagarasu die so easily? Otherwise, it would be impossible, and he would be regarded as the gatekeeper of the Yuling sect. And he was sure of it. With Yatagarasu's arrogant character, he will definitely fight back. When the time comes, I will step in to help and save these two little girls. If you bring it into Yulingman again, it will be even easier. However, his plan has just begun. I saw an incredible side. The little girl with the long sword actually had 1,000-year-old fire on her fingertips. This is an incredible treasure. Especially last time, the great mysterious gate was opened. All the previous monks disappeared, and the whole world entered the age of ending Dharma. Such a treasure is simply a masterpiece for the world of spiritual practice. In their entire Yuling sect, there are only 2 or 3 pieces that can be compared with 10,000 years of fire. Who would have thought that this little girl would take it out casually? What shocked him even more was what was behind. The bigger the treasure, the harder it is to control. He thought that this little girl could only be sacrificed to drive away those resentful spirits. Who would have thought? This 1,000-year-old fire, in the hands of that little girl, could not be controlled too well. In an instant, all the resentful spirits were destroyed, and he even thought of attacking Yatagarasu, who was seriously injured. He finally reacted and knew it was time to take action. But it was still a step too late. I could only watch helplessly as the gatekeeper Yatagarasu turned into ashes. Feeling sullen in his heart, he jumped out and prepared to question these two little girls. He didn't expect that the one carrying the camera would have such a vicious mouth. As soon as he opened his mouth, he sprayed himself all over his body. He even fired a map cannon and scolded all the men in Sakurajima Kingdom. Ah, Baga! You wanna die? The middle-aged warrior's anger could no longer be suppressed. The true energy in his body was running rapidly. The whole person of the anniversary warrior's aura changed drastically. Buzz. Under the infusion of true energy, the katana in his hand vibrated and made a buzzing sound. He slashed straight at Joshii's head. The speed is beyond imagination. Even the blade of the samurai sword seemed to disappear in mid-air. It was still in mid-air a second ago. The next second, it appeared above Joshii's head, less than 20 centimeters away from Joshii's green silk hair. Seeing that his katana was about to split the little girl in half, the middle-aged samurai actually regretted it. This little girl is so beautiful and spiritual. I was really chopped off by myself, it was a waste of natural resources. Only. How could I care so much when I was so angry just now? Now his knife has reached the little girl's head. Even if he wanted to stop, it was impossible, and he could only feel slightly disappointed. But the next moment, ding! A soft sound came, and the middle-aged warrior was stunned. It was the kind of person whose expression was completely out of control and stunned. A pair of triangular eyes, opened as wide as possible, almost popping out of their eyes. The mouth was so open that it was almost as if it was cracking to the base of the ear, because he discovered. In his imagination, the scene of the little girl being split in half with a knife did not appear. She was still standing there intact, with an innocent smile on her face. The difference from just now was, her arm that wasn't carrying the camera was raised now. Raised above her own head. Two white and slender fingers clamped the blade of the katana. This, how is this possible? The middle-aged samurai seemed to have seen a ghost. No, as a member of Yuling sect, he often saw ghosts and saw all kinds of ghosts. But he had never been so frightened. He poured his true energy into himself and slashed with all his strength. The samurai sword, not to mention splitting mountains and seas, but it can also cut gold and crack stones easily. It was caught by a 5 or 6-year-old girl with 2 small fingers. Sakurajima country's TV movies don't even dare to shoot like this. The people of Sakurajima country who are watching the live broadcast have similar expressions to this middle-aged samurai. Most of them just entered the live broadcast room today. I just saw it. Joshia was shocked by her methods. Unexpectedly, could even this guy carrying the photographer be so strong? The most outrageous thing is, when she stretched out 2 fingers to clamp the samurai sword, the other hand holding the camera actually had the thought to turn the camera and take a close-up for everyone to see. It's really not the most outrageous, only more outrageous. Nakeda. The middle-aged samurai forgot to switch the language system in his desperation. After speaking 2 Sakurajima languages, I realized something was wrong. I quickly changed it to the Chinese language of, "Who are you 2 little dolls? No, you are definitely not what I saw. You can't be 5 or 6 years old. It must be an illusion and fake. But why, I can't find any trace of illusion." As he spoke, the middle-aged samurai wanted to take back his katana. But he discovered, that little girl's 2 fingers seemed to be as strong as 10,000 kilograms. I can't even pull it out. Questions for middle-aged samurai. Joshii was not in the mood to answer. Instead, he looked at Joshio next to him with great confusion. "Little 11, don't blame your sister for not letting you. Since you're all here, I'll let you enjoy your hand addiction. Leave this to you to solve." Joshio's cold voice sounded. Joshii on the side burst into laughter when she heard this. "Haha, thank you Sister October. Sister October is the best, I love you. Muma." Joshii thanked her again, blew a kiss again, and was overjoyed. Since I didn't have any hands to blow a kiss, I had no choice but to let go of the katana. But a middle-aged samurai. After finally taking back his katana, he was not happy at all. "What are these 2 little girls doing?" He didn't answer my questions and just kept chatting to himself. Why did it feel like after they finished chatting, the little girl carrying the camera looked so excited? Solve. What they say is the solution. Boom. There was a muffled sound. The middle-aged samurai was kicked out by the little girl carrying the camera. Now he finally knew what the 2 little girls were talking about. It turned out to be a solution for himself. Bang bang bang, bang bang bang. After breaking 5 or 6 towering ancient trees in a row, the middle-aged samurai finally fell to the ground. Wow, he spat out a mouthful of black blood. At this moment, he was absolutely sure. These 2 little girls were definitely monsters. Needless to say, the one with the long sword had an indifferent expression, as cold as ice. Average. However, he directly took out the 10,000 years of fire and extinguished the gatekeeper bird Yatagarasu. The little girl carrying the camera looked younger, innocent, cute, and harmless to humans and animals. Who would have thought that she was so strong? She only used two slender little fingers to clamp her full blow, which she thought was the limit. Unexpectedly, this kick was even more powerful. It weighed 10,000 pounds. I'm afraid it's far more powerful than that. Oh, this little the Japanese from Sakurajima Kingdom are too vulnerable. I seized the opportunity, and in order to have a good time, I didn't even dare to use my true energy. Unexpectedly, he couldn't even bear a kick and vomited blood. Joshi's somewhat depressed voice sounded. Puff. The middle-aged samurai couldn't help but spurt out the blood he had just suppressed. What does this little Chinese girl mean? Does he dislike me for being too weak? And what did she just say? She didn't even use her true energy. Crazy, must be crazy. If you can use your true chi to have such strength, you must already have natural divine power. Without using true chi, but he can easily exert tens of thousands of kilograms of force. What kind of monster is this? Haha, I feel like Xiao Shi has another name, the poisonous sweetheart. This little devil is really miserable. Not only was he beaten and vomited blood, but he was so angry that he vomited blood again. Applause. It seems that this guy hasn't watched the live broadcast yet and doesn't know how powerful the two sisters are. Otherwise, he might not dare to do anything. He should have realized it now. Haha, it's so cool to see Chinese people fighting against Japanese devils from Sakurajima. Should I say it or not, Xiao 11 is still as fierce as ever. When he beats people, he is even more fierce than when he catches ghosts. When catching ghosts, she couldn't bear to beat them to death. All she wanted to do was capture them and send them to move bricks and drive screws. Of course I'm timid. When she had to carry the camera before, 1.6 said she was strong. I thought she was just stronger than ordinary people, but I didn't expect it to be so strong. Even his true energy was useless. He kicked people away and broke 5 or 6 ancient trees that were 3 or 4 people thick. This is not ordinary fierce, this is super invincible and very fierce. I really enjoyed today's live broadcast. Just follow this style. Upstairs, if you are afraid of ghosts, just say so, haha. I just don't have pants to change into. In the Huaxia live broadcast room, the excitement is still the same. The short-lived Sakurajima Kingdom barrages and comments still dare not show up again. At this time, the people of Sakurajima Kingdom are shocked, collapsed, and panicked. What is shocking is, these 5 or 6 how come the 2 little girls are more powerful than the other? What breaks down is, aren't the samurai of Sakurajima Kingdom very ferocious and powerful? Why are they so weak in front of these 2 little girls? No, it's not even a dish dog. When a dish dog is beaten, he can still bark at the enemy with his teeth bared, and even bite a few times. This middle-aged samurai didn't even bark much. Just straight up. This little girl was pinned to the ground and rubbed. What frightened the people of Sakurajima was, the 2 little girls from China were so ferocious. Aren't there other practitioners who are more powerful? They know. Let's launch an all-round attack on Sakurajima country. Although outside, they refuse to admit it. But more than 80 years ago, the people of their own country did something that was so tragic that it was worse than a pig or a dog. They themselves I still know it very well. If the 2 little girls on the Chinese side are so powerful, how terrifying is the strength on the Chinese side? If they really fight, Sakurajima Kingdom will not be finished, right? Yang Mi, my daughter catches ghosts. Scared millions of viewers. Author, Tianyi Madman. Chapter 97. You, who are you? Do you know what boundary this is? How dare you make trouble here? In your Chinese words, the ignorant are fearless, and the newborn calves are not afraid of tigers. The middle-aged warrior sounds like he knows China quite well, and even knows the ancient proverbs. It was his voice that day, and it was a little weird when he said this. Who are we to be ignorant? This baby already said it yesterday night. Early this morning, they will come and destroy the Yuling sect. Use your shrunken little brain to get on the internet and surf the web. The little sweetheart of the poisonous snake is still performing steadily. The middle-aged warrior was speechless and stunned for a while. He originally thought that these two little dolls from China didn't know this place. How could they dare to be so presumptuous? Unexpectedly, they actually knew that this was Yuling sect. And, they also said that they had already said it yesterday evening. They came here early in the morning and destroyed their own sect. What an international joke. I just went out to perform tasks for a few days. What happened to this world? Are people crazy? Two little brats who are still young and want to destroy a sect at every turn? Just when this middle-aged samurai was filled with questions, the little sword fairy Joshio in white over there has already made a new move. She continued walking along the moss-covered stone steps. Even though it looked to the naked eye that the rugged mountain road had turned a corner, she still moved forward. Seeing this scene, the middle-aged warrior's eyes narrowed slightly, and various questions arose in his mind. They actually really know where the mountain gate of Yulingmen is. And I really want to enter the Yuling sect. Crazy, absolutely crazy. At this moment, an imperceptible brilliance flashed through. It was as if there was an invisible barrier in front of Joshio, blocking her steps. The middle-aged samurai laughed secretly in his heart. I still looked up to the two little girls. They don't even know the seal to enter the Yuling gate, but they still want to break into the Yuling gate? You know, every practicing sect. Everyone has an independent little world. Without a special seal, the portal to the small world cannot be opened. After all, that is the barrier between two worlds 27. But the next moment, the middle-aged samurai was dumbfounded again. I saw the little girl holding out her finger. Swipe lightly in the void ahead. It was as if a ripple of water was rippling past, the invisible barrier was actually cut open. How can it be? This is absolutely impossible. You just broke the barrier between the two worlds. Open the door to my spiritual sect. The middle-aged warrior felt as if his head had exploded. He really couldn't believe the scene he saw before his eyes. That was the barrier between the secular world and the small world of cultivation. He was killed by a little girl of 5 or 6 years old. Just cut it open with your fingers. This is simply ridiculous. After living for 45 years, he has never been so shocked in his life. What on earth has happened to this world? What has happened in the past few days? I really think about it. I don't understand, and I really can't. The middle-aged samurai took out his mobile phone from his spirit bag and prepared to send a message to the sect to warn the sect. Then he asked if anyone knew anything about the two little Chinese girls. However, when he turned on his phone, he was stunned again. Because his one INE was beeping non-stop, with hundreds of messages. There were also hundreds of notifications on his Twitter and Face. Some people are on it, some are forwarding something, and some are crazy, leaving messages to themselves. Even the software for watching videos, YouTube and Nico Nico, the messages are flashing non-stop. At this moment, he only feels this world is absolutely crazy. In the past, he went out on missions. He often didn't take out his mobile phone for several days. When he came back, there was not a single message, which was quite sad. But as a practitioner, it is inevitable to have contact with the secular world. He was used to being disconnected from the products of the secular world. What happened this time? He opened a piece of software at random. The middle-aged samurai discovered it. He didn't seem to have to search or inquire about the information about these two little girls. There is no need to send a message warning to the sect. Because all of my software is full of messages. If you open one at any time, it is all messages and screenshots about these two little girls. Even videos, live broadcast links, etc. Huaxia variety show program, Parent-Child Travel Diary. During the live broadcast, it was attacked by evil ghosts. The little girl with infinite power was named Zhou Xi. She was only 5 years old and easily solved the problem of the ghosts. The weird little village, Phi Ma Daxiao, was carrying a big red sedan chair. There were 8 evil ghosts of the same kind as the evil ghost who had just died. The little girl showed her power again. Taoist Xuanyuan of China appeared on the scene. He was easily solved by the little girl with the red sword again. She is only 6 years old. Are she half-sisters with that powerful little girl? In addition, that small village turned out to be the tomb of Cao. There is even an ancient tomb of a pre-Qin Chi refiner hidden in deeper. The disciples of my sect launched a sneak attack, and were fooled around and ended in a disastrous defeat. And just now, the scene of me being completely beaten by that little girl. Has it been broadcast live simultaneously? Tens of millions are people watching? They quickly passed through the messages one by one. The middle-aged warrior felt that his sky had completely collapsed. He had been practicing diligently for decades. He had also thought about whether one day he could appearing in front of ordinary people as a practitioner. At that time, everyone will definitely see how powerful and magical he is. Who would have thought? This day has actually come. But, others, what I saw was not how powerful I was. I saw how weak and novice I was. He was tortured into a dog by a 5-year-old girl. It's over, it's over. It was a shame to be thrown into grandma's house. At this moment, the entire internet is probably laughing at me. The middle-aged warrior is about to cry, and he wants to die. But he obviously thought too much. It is true to be embarrassed, and it is also true to be a dishonest person. But no one laughed at him. Because everyone had no intention of paying attention to him. After the little sword fairy Zhou Xiu in white used her finger as a sword, she opened the barrier leading to the small world of Yulingmen. Everyone's attention was attracted by the picture in front of them. As the rippling barrier spread out, what appeared before everyone's eyes was a scene beyond imagination. There are dozens of them, towering and precipitous mountains with peaks and peaks rising straight into the clouds. The Aso 5 mountains just now looked very spectacular and beautiful. But in front of these dozens of mountains, Asuwu is simply a younger brother. And he's still a younger brother. On these dozens of high mountains, various shrines, attics, palaces, etc. are built. On the mountainside, various kinds of immortal birds and animals are also bred. The clouds and mist shrouded it like a legendary fairyland. 2 sisters, Zhou Xi and Zhou Xiu. At this moment, I am standing at the foot of these mountains. His already petite body seemed even more insignificant in front of these majestic mountains. Damn it, why did the style of painting suddenly change? Is this the Yuling Gate? Isn't it similar to Huashan Ime? How could it be so big and spectacular? I feel numb. The spiritual world. Everyone, do you really think that the Ime Tianchi mansion in Mount Huashan and other things you saw when you were traveling are what they really look like? Yes, this should be the legendary small world. Each of the major sects and clans in China should have their own small world, otherwise they would have been discovered by outsiders long ago. I understand everything you said. But this is too shocking. Any mountain here is probably higher than Mount Everest. Someone has said before that the world you see may not be what it really is. As I stepped on the horse, I suddenly realized, I didn't expect that we are all frogs in the well. In fact, the frog in the well is not scary, and you will still be very happy. Once you really understand this world, you feel how small and weak you are. What are you afraid of? There are sisters Xiao I and October. As long as they are strong enough, they can lead China to become stronger, and then we will also benefit from it and become stronger, haha. Damn it, your flat out remarks are on par with that big pig's hooves. But I like it. After all, that big pig's hooves is probably the real one. You big pig's hooves, please show some respect to me, that is the light of our China's future. At least he is also the father of the future light. Everyone in the live broadcast room, whether they are Chinese people or ordinary people of Sakurajima country, after seeing the majesty and magnificence of Yulingman's small world, they all feel their own insignificance. But at this moment, the sweetheart of the poisonous snake, Zhou Xi, somewhat sulky. What happened? We all made a declaration of war yesterday. I thought that after entering, I would be besieged by the entire Yuling sect. Why is there no one? Zhou Xi complained angrily. After listening to these words, everyone doubted their own ears. The brain circuit of this little ancestor is really different. Because he was not besieged by the entire sect, do you dislike him like this? It really could be a little more outrageous. You two little babies are indeed very strong. But I advise you to think twice before you act. The strength of my Yuling sect is equivalent to your big sects in China, Huashan Ime. If you kneel down and submit to the law now, and sincerely admit your mistake, you may still be able to save your life. Otherwise, you will definitely die. The middle-aged warrior on the side, after hearing Zhou Xi's arrogant remarks, actually despised his sect so much. He was so angry that he retorted. It was only after this rebuttal that he came down. The Huashan sect and Ime sect in China, he started to get furious again. Greetings to this middle-aged warrior and the 18 generations of ancestors of Yulingman. Is this over? You people in Yulingman are all mentally ill, right? Why do you always compare us? What a shame. Do we treat it as a unit of measurement? Oops, I almost forgot about you if you didn't speak. Just right. Go and call out all the sect masters and elders of your Yuling section. It saves us sisters that we have to look for them one by one, which is a waste of time. Zhou Xi looked at the middle-aged warrior and said quietly. Arrogant. The middle-aged warrior wanted to say something more. But just after he said 2 words, he found that the powerful little girl stretched out her hand towards him. Then, a golden palm print condensed in mid-air. He was directly hit. The man was lifted up like an eagle catching a chicken. The middle-aged warrior was shocked. He didn't know what this little girl was going to do. But he always had a bad premonition, and his heart was pounding. Immediately afterwards, the golden palm made a back-swinging movement to accumulate energy. It was like throwing a shot put, and threw the middle-aged samurai directly. Call out. After images passed over the body of the middle-aged warrior, fly directly into the air. At this moment, he felt extremely shattered and felt that he had been humiliated again. What the hell? Can you treat yourself as an individual? But asking himself, he was shocked again by this little girl. What kind of speed is this? He had never flown so fast when he used all his strength to control the air. Unexpectedly, he was thrown out of the afterimage by a little girl. Apart from the panic and humiliation, he was also somewhat grateful to survive the disaster. His life should not be in danger. As long as 840 can return to the Yulingman, there is the protection of the sect master and the elders. What can those 2 little girls do to me? He didn't believe that these 2 little kids alone could really destroy the entire Yuling sect. Etc. What force is squeezing me? Yulingman's mountain protecting formation. How is it possible? Yulingman has not been willing to open the mountain protection formation for hundreds of years. Why did it suddenly turn on today? The middle-aged man finally felt something was wrong. 2 little kids came to the mountain gate. Why didn't anyone from the Yuling sect show up? Just now he thought it was everyone from the Yuling sect. He didn't bother to fight with the 2 little kids. The enemy didn't take it seriously. Now, I found that Yulingman's mountain protecting formation was actually on. The middle-aged warrior finally smelled an unusual smell. You know, Yulingman's mountain protecting formation, but it requires spiritual stones to activate it. Since the last time the Dakshuan sect was opened, tyrannical cultivators all over the world have disappeared without a trace with all kinds of treasures. The world has entered the age of ending Dharma. Spiritual stones are extremely rare, and so precious. The mountain protecting formation of Yulingman has not been turned on much since then. The last time it was turned on, hundreds of years ago, it was just a trial, but the mountain protecting formation still didn't work. It was only turned on for a few minutes. It was shut down immediately. But now, the mountain guarding formation is still open. It means that the entire Yuling sect has entered the highest alert posture. Just because of these two little dolls. Crazy. Really, he was crazy. The middle-aged samurai was completely confused. But this confusion did not last long. He had already flown into the strangulation range of the mountain guarding formation. He could only feel powerful auras attacking from all directions. Coming. His body exploded in mid-air and turned into a ball of blood mist. No. The yin spirit left the body, and the middle-aged warrior let out a heart-rending ghost roar. Because he knew very well what he was going to face next. But it's of no use. A black vortex appeared. His yin spirit was directly sucked into it and turned into a resentful spirit of Yuling sect. I said, why no one showed up? It turns out that the mountain protection formation was activated directly. This Yuling sect is too cowardly. They say that hidden, Sakurahimas devils bully the weak and fear the strong, and they are like turtles. If you have nothing to do, just shrink into your bastard shell. I didn't expect it to be true. You haven't even fought yet, are you afraid that this will happen? Looking at the middle-aged warrior who turned into a rain of blood in mid-air, Joshi also saw what was going on. Angrily, she turned on the complain mode again, and without exception, launched the map cannon. All of a sudden, the entire people of Sakurajima Kingdom have been affected again. But they are unable to refute and can only endure silently. Looking at it this way, it seems that they are still riding horses. They are like turtles. Yang Mi, my daughter catches ghosts. Scared millions of viewers. Author, Tianyi Madman. Chapter 98. Yulingman, on the highest mountain, in the largest Yuling shrine. Led by the master of the Yuling sect, there are dozens of core members of the Yuling sect. I am also watching the live broadcast of Parent-Child Travel Diary. But at this time, each of them looked very ugly. It's so frustrating. It's really frustrating. That little girl named Joshi has such a vicious mouth. There are various map cannons at the beginning. Bombed the entire Yulingman. Even the entire Sakurajima kingdom. Now there was another face-to-face and indiscriminate attack on Yulingman. This doesn't mean. When people point at their noses and scold them, is the entire Yuling sect just a bunch of bastards? Door owner. Let me go down and fight. Our Yuling sect's reputation cannot be trampled on like this. An elder from the Yuling sect stood up and said angrily. No. How dare these two little girls come to our Yuling sect to kill us? There must be something wrong inside. Don't forget, behind the two of them, there is an even more unfathomable and mysterious existence. These two little babies have already reached heavenly cultivation at this age. Their father is absolutely terrifying. You are not allowed to take action unless you are forced to do so. Our reserve of spiritual stones is enough to support the mountain guard formation for 3 days. I don't believe that these two little girls can guard the mountain gate all the time. The sect leader of the Yuling sect is an old man with gray hair and a wretched face. He righteously rejected the elder's invitation to fight. What can the others do? They can only be incompetent and furious. And the sect leader is not right. It's reasonable. Anyone who looks at it will feel that these two little girls dare to go to Sakurajima Kingdom so unscrupulously and attack the Yuling section. There must be a bigger plan and conspiracy. If they don't do it well, I'm afraid they can really give Yuling. Fortunately, the Yuling sect is also an ancient sect that has been passed down for thousands of years. With this impeccable mountain protection formation, it is the strongest defense. It is enough to survive this misty difficulty. However, just when everyone was convinced and overjoyed, something unexpected happened to them. Yulingmen, at the foot of the mountains, in front of the mountain gate. After the middle-aged warrior was shattered into a ball of blood mist by the mountain guarding formation of the Yuling sect. The entire Yuling sect's mountain protecting formation was completely activated. Originally, the mountains and rivers were beautiful, and the clouds and mist shrouded it, just like the Yuling Gate in a fairyland on earth. At this moment, it changed into a completely different appearance. There are gusts of sinister wind, ghosts crying and wolves howling. It's like purgatory on earth. It was as if there were thousands of resentful spirits, whistling like weeping ghosts, where the two sisters Joshii and Joshia were. Slowly, it was also enveloped by the mountain guarding formation. The originally clear sky turned into a dark and obscure color. The atmosphere in the entire live broadcast room became gloomy and cold. In these small days, the Sakurajima devils will make some good and bad things. What kind of rubbish formations are you embarrassed to show off? Didn't anyone tell them that China is the birthplace of Formation Deo and the ancestor of Formation Deo? They are the ones who are playing tricks in front of this baby and are trying to do whatever they want. Joshii's milky voice sounded, and she complained unceremoniously. Everyone in Yulingmen had black lines on their faces. This is our mountain protection formation. The founder of our sect, the founder of the sect, arranged it himself. Okay. What is a rubbish formation? Although China is indeed the birthplace of formations. But in today's China, formations have long been in decline. How can you, a 5-year-old baby, have the confidence come to slander our mountain protecting formation? It's a pity that the sect master won't let it go. Otherwise, they would have to have a good argument with that little kid. Just thinking like this, everyone in the Yuling sect suddenly changed their expressions, and he stood up in a hurry. His eyes were fixed on Joshii's white and tender hands on the big screen. Because just now, after Joshii finished complaining, she reached into the small cloth pocket in front of her and took out a something. A diamond-shaped jade stone that is crystal clear, blooming with brilliance and aura. The best spiritual stone. How can it be? How could this little doll have the best spiritual stone in his hand? Even our Yuling sect doesn't have a piece. Including the master of the Yuling sect, the core members of the entire Yuling sect. At this moment, their eyes widened and their mouths opened wide. They made strange screams. In fact, it is not just the Yuling sect. Other practices in Sakurajima Kingdom organization. And all the sects and clans in China. It can even be said that all the practitioners who are watching this live broadcast, including the old men and old ladies in the unknown nursing home in Kyoto. At this moment, they all suddenly stood up. The expressions were more exciting than the last, and the expressions were more exaggerated than the last. Her eyeballs and chin fell to the floor. Just because. Joshii took out something from her little cloth pocket. It was a top-quality spiritual stone. What exactly is this thing? How rare is it? To put it bluntly, all the practitioners in the world combined, can't even get one. That's right, they can't get one. Since the last time the great mysterious sect was opened, all the practitioners in the world can't find one. The world seemed to have been cut in half. The powerful practitioners all disappeared. Including their caves, tombs, exercises, secret books, etc. And all kinds of heavenly materials, earthly treasures, spiritual birds and beasts, all turned into history. not to mention spiritual veins and spiritual mines. Until now, no one has been found. The best spiritual stones. At the beginning, there may be some leftover libraries. But don't forget. How many years have passed? The world of spiritual practice is in a state where you can only get out but not enter. The best spiritual stone, hundreds of years ago, could no longer be found in its entirety. What is left now is probably a few fragments, which are enshrined as treasures. Not to mention the best spiritual stones. Even ordinary spirit stones are extremely precious in the world of cultivation. Otherwise, it would be impossible for Yulingman's mountain protecting formation to not be activated for hundreds of years. This activation made the master of the Yuling sect feel extremely painful. This is also true for other sects and clans. Want to practice with spiritual stones? Go ahead and dream of your spring and autumn dreams. In the past, spiritual stones were precious. But everyone is like this, so my heart is very balanced. But now, Joshi is a 5-year-old girl. In his little cloth pocket, he actually took out a complete, top-grade spiritual stone. Naturally, everyone couldn't sit still. This. I'm afraid it's the only piece of top-quality spiritual stone in the world. I don't know how many people were staring at the top-quality spiritual stones on the screen, their eyes almost bursting with fire, and their thoughts were even racing. Is it possible for me to do it without paying any price? Get this top-quality spiritual stone. Just when many practitioners were in a state of excitement, an even more unimaginable picture appeared for them. Joshi reached out again and dug into the small cloth pocket in front of her. The best spiritual stone in hand. It became 2 pieces. There are countless practitioners who just sat down and tried to calm down. He jumped up directly. The kind that can jump 3 feet high. This little girl actually has 2 top-quality spiritual stones in her hands. Go crazy. It turns out that it is indeed crazy. But it wasn't Joshi who was crazy, it was them who were crazy. Because Joshi took out the 3rd piece, the 4th piece, later. It seems that holding it like this is too slow. He directly tipped the little cloth bag in front of him. With a crackle, a total of 20 or 30 top-quality spiritual stones were poured to the ground by her. Countless practitioners. I just felt short of breath and my heart almost stopped. What on earth is going on? The best spiritual stone that is not found in the whole world. This little girl only has 1 piece. After all, her mysterious father seems to be very powerful, and it makes sense that he accidentally got a top-quality spiritual stone. But it's 20 or 30 top-quality spiritual stones. Don't be too exaggerated. The most important thing is, we all enshrine these small fragments of the best spiritual stone as treasures. And this little girl was just thrown to the ground. People deserve to die. Sister October, I am good at formations, let me break the formations. Holding a pile of spiritual stones, Joshi pitifully asked Joshi. You are ready, and you still ask me. Bring it on. Quick victory. Joshi said with a bit of laughter and tears, and let go of the hilt of the sword in her hand. Okay. Joshi agreed, picked up a spiritual stone, and fierce lively somewhere ahead. Boom. With a soft sound, the top-quality spiritual stones exploded in mid-air. They turned into mysterious runes. Then came the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th pieces. Countless practitioners in the world felt heartbroken at this moment. Every time the sound of explosion sounded, I felt as if my heart had been stabbed. That is the best spiritual stone. You actually used it to break the formation? What a waste of natural resources. What a waste of natural resources. This mountain protecting formation of Yuling sect, you don't even have the best spiritual stones to run it. This broken formation is actually very weak. Just use the most common spiritual stones. It's a pity that I only have this best spiritual stone. Dad's spiritual stone warehouse is full of these top-grade spiritual stones. Can't find regular ones. It was as if I heard the voices of countless practitioners. Joshi, I muttered and complained. When countless practitioners heard these words, they felt that their world had completely collapsed. It turns out that you don't use ordinary spiritual stones because you don't have that kind, only this top-grade spiritual stone? The first two sentences are fine. When the third sentence came out, I don't know how many practitioners rolled their eyes and almost fainted. Their unreliable father actually has a spiritual stone warehouse. Are they all filled with top-quality spiritual stones? What kind of quantity, what kind of scale? A warehouse is needed to store it? Kyoto, unknown nursing home for the elderly, indoor activity center. Someone fainted. It was true that an old lady fainted in excitement. Fortunately, an old man next to her hugged her. It's artificial respiration, and it's delivering true energy. Only then did she regain her composure. Is this true? How many spiritual stones does this little girl's father have? The old lady was still in shock and couldn't help herself. Then she suddenly realized that she was being held in the arms of an old immortal, and his mouth was about to come over. Snapped. Without any hesitation, the old lady slapped her in the face. The entire indoor activity center suddenly became chaotic. No wonder these people who have lived hundreds of years are so shocked and frightened. A top-quality spiritual stone is extremely precious to the world of cultivation. But it won't bring much change. But a few dozen yuan is a bit meaningful. After the last opening of the great mysterious sect, the spiritual energy on the entire earth became increasingly thinner. It is naturally more and more difficult for practitioners to advance. The continuous decline in strength is an inevitable trend. I don't know how many people are stuck in a certain realm, unable to break through the shackles because of insufficient spiritual energy. What is a spiritual stone? If the spiritual energy is too strong, it will condense into liquid. Liquids crystallize after thousands of years of precipitation and solidification. This is an ordinary spiritual stone. The spiritual energy contained in every ordinary spiritual stone is extremely majestic. Not to mention the best spiritual stones. Only after a large area of spiritual liquid precipitates and forms spiritual veins, will the purest and most solid top-quality spiritual stone appear. Use the best spiritif you come to practice. Get twice the result with half the effort, and even play a supporting role in breaking through the realm, increasing the success rate by 30%. One can imagine how precious this thing is. And the most outrageous thing is, the best spiritual stones can be taken directly. Because it is extremely pure, without any impurities. Even an ordinary person can instantly become a practitioner by swallowing a tiny bit of the best spiritual stone. If you have enough top-quality spiritual stones, it can even be used to create one or even many powerful practitioners. It can even create a powerful force. The significance of this is extremely important. This is why old men and women are so excited. After the last Zioxwanman, China suffered a tragic victory and was constantly squeezed by all forces in the world. Even the secular world has flourished over the years. The cultivation world is also struggling, and it is only the support of the older generation that prevents foreign races from wreaking havoc. If he is the father of these two little girls, if you really have a spiritual stone warehouse in your hand, how strong he is, it's impossible to estimate. And if he can use the best spiritual stones to create a powerful force, this time the great mysterious gate is opened. In the Chinese practice world, the chances of winning have definitely been greatly improved. It is even possible that the path to immortality, with Li Hao, will really be reopened in China. By then, China will surely be able to restore its glory in ancient times. According to ancient records, Zeus, Odin, God, Jesus, Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. At that time, everyone was classified into the ranks of demons. The white-skinned ones are descendants of the demon clan. The black-skinned ones are descendants of demons. Only China in ancient times is the only orthodox immortality in the world. Bang bang, bang bang. The sound that has broken the hearts of countless practitioners around the world continues. The best spiritual stone in Zhou Shi's hand. As if they don't need money, they throw them out piece by piece. After each piece of top-quality spiritual stone explodes, it will turn into mysterious rune marks. Finally, with the prayers of countless people, that distressing voice finally ended. But all the top-quality spiritual stones in front of Zhou Shi were squandered by her. A full 36 yuan. It turned into 36 mysterious rune marks and appeared around Zhou Shi. Then, I saw her making secrets with both hands. There are words muttered in the small mouth. All the rune marks seem to come alive. Start spinning and flying around them. Buzz buzz. Along with those rune marks, the rotation speed is getting faster and faster. The world seemed to be alive, trembling continuously. Including Yulingman's mountain protecting formation, all were affected, and various disorders and cracks appeared. At the same time, boom, boom. In the sky, streaks of lightning flashed. As if some unparalleled evil is coming from another world, fire, finally. A huge head appeared in mid-air. Wait until you see this head. I don't know how many people in the world knelt down directly. Even lying on the ground, shivering. There are many practitioners among them. There are even more people who don't know how many people there are. Completely, I began to doubt life and the authenticity of this world. Buyer, Darkmation. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Yang Mi, my daughter catches ghosts. Scared millions of viewers. Author, Tianyi Madman. Chapter 99. Oh, God. No, it's my God. So, is that the legendary dragon? The horns are like a deer, the head is like a camel, the ears are like a cow, the eyes are like a rabbit, the neck is like a snake, and the scales are like a fish. It's unmistakable, this riding horse is the legendary dragon. I'm already on my knees. I didn't expect that the legendary dragon actually existed. Mom, my heart is beating so fast. I have long believed that dragons exist in this world. Among the 12 zodiac signs, the other 11 can be found in reality, so why not the dragon? Yes, yes, there are also various idioms such as the sayings about the descendants of the dragon walking and the tiger walking, etc. Someone must have seen the dragon. Unexpectedly, we also saw it today. He said nothing and kowtowed. My grandfather even knelt down. How could we, the grandsons, not kneel down? I have been kneeling for a long time, and our whole family is kneeling. Woo, this is a divine dragon. Kneeling is not a disadvantage at all. Little 11 can't really be a fairy descending to earth. How can you even make a dragon? Although it looks like a shadow has arrived, not the real body. In the live broadcast room, there are already more than 70 million people online at this time. This does not include people who are watching the live broadcast through other channels. If there are real statistics, there are probably hundreds of millions of people watching this live broadcast at this time. Plan. But no matter what method is used, the people watching the live broadcast are shocked at this moment, and their minds are blank. Just because, the huge head that appears in the sky is the dragon in Chinese legend. Ordinary, the shock was not bad. Countless monks in the cultivation world knelt down for no reason at the moment they saw the dragon. There was no way, even through the screen. Everyone could feel that on the huge head of the dragon, the pressure coming from this. The more cultivators you are, the clearer you feel it. You can't do it without kneeling. As cultivators, they naturally believe that divine dragons exist. But since the opening of the Suanmen in pre-Qin dynasty, the divine dragons have also disappeared. Unexpectedly. Today, Zhou Xi, a 5-year-old baby, used a formation to condense the shadow of a divine dragon. Let the power of the divine dragon reappear in the world. This is definitely an exciting event for China. Good news. But for practitioners from other countries, it is definitely a huge threat. Suddenly, practitioners from countless countries have become wary of China, and even, destruction heart of Las Vegas, the United States, is a cathedral hidden in the desert. Immigrants from various countries, all kinds of monks gathered together. At this time, all of them were watching the Parent-Child Travel Diary live broadcast room on 280. Everyone's complexion is very ugly. No. The dragon appears. This is a sign that the hidden dragon is about to awaken in China. Everyone. We cannot just stand by and watch China continue to develop like this. These two little girls are too dangerous. And the mysterious man behind them. It must be eradicated as soon as possible. A red-robed archbishop sitting at the top suddenly patted the deputy of the chair and said in a deep voice, "If someone were here, they would find something very unexpected." This red-robed archbishop is obviously a blonde man with blue eyes. A white man who opened his mouth actually spoke Chinese. And he spoke very fluently. In fact, he was not the only one. Most practitioners from various countries spoke Chinese. The more advanced the practitioner, the more fluent in Chinese. On the one hand, naturally because as practitioners, their lifespan has been increased several times, and they have plenty of time. And it is very simple to learn. But the main reason is, they have to learn. If you practice one way, you will reach the same goal through different paths. China, as the whole world, the only ancient civilization that exists in the world. The most mysterious and ancient existence. It can be regarded as the final destination of practitioners. No matter what country, what type of practitioner, or what kind of kung fu books they practiced before. What I want to do next: if you want to become more refined, you must study Huaxia's techniques. Although after the last opening of the Daxuan section, all cultivators around the world experienced devastating faults. But because of Huaxia's deep foundation, relatively speaking, it is the most complete one. This is also the main reason why, in 1990, 8 countries united to attack the Chinese spiritual world. From the perspective of the people in the secular world, 8 countries at that time, jointly attacked China. They only took away many Chinese cultural relics and national treasures. But in fact, that time was the real heavy loss for the Chinese cultivation world. At least 60% of the Chinese exercises and classics were destroyed. The practitioners of the 8 countries were all divided up. This is also the case in recent years. China has become weaker and weaker. On the contrary, it is one of the main reasons why other countries have become stronger and stronger. They originally thought that, the Chinese cultivation world was destined to decline. So they are not in a hurry to fight to the death with China. Even though China has developed extremely rapidly in the secular world in recent years, they are not too anxious. After all, the real hard truth is that the spiritual world is strong. But let them start unexpectedly. Huaxia suddenly appeared, 2 little girls of 5 or 6 years old. The strength they showed made them feel threatened. Because of this, practitioners from many countries gathered together. Contact us. We are discussing whether to strangle China in the cradle before it truly rises. If we just fight and kill, many countries may not be so active. But don't forget. Zhou Xi just now, but casually, she took out dozens of top-grade spiritual stones. She also said that her father had a spiritual stone warehouse. All of them were top-grade spiritual stones of the same color. This kind of temptation is for practitioners from all countries. It can be said to be very big, very big. Besides, a person who can own so many top-grade spiritual stones. Will he only have spiritual stones? Maybe there will be more things used by practitioners. Maybe, better than 199, the journey to China in year 0 was even more rewarding. After all, there was no top-quality spiritual stone in China at that time. Suddenly, practitioners from many countries became restless. Sakurajima Kingdom, Yulingman. Crackling. Rays of thunder intertwined and flashed in the sky. That huge dragon head, which is about the size of a basketball court, is looming among the thunder in the sky. Shenlong, after all, is a Shenlong. Even if only a shadow comes, it can turn the clouds and rain, and control lightning and thunder. Just when everyone was looking at the sky in shock, a head with 2 little knots on it suddenly appeared in front of the camera. She is pink and jade carved, with delicate facial features and 2 shallow dimples at the corners of her mouth. Surprisingly, it's De Mimi's daughter, Zhou Xi. Dear uncles and aunts, grandparents, brothers and sisters in front of the TV. Hello everyone, this is Xi's Ghost Hunting Live Broadcast Room. Today, let's not catch ghosts for now. Please take a look at the legendary 5-clawed dragon. Everyone, next, please open your eyes and prick up your ears. Listen to the dragon's roar. Little 11 transformed into a little reporter and host, and even introduced it to everyone. Then, she cast another seal in the sky. Hold head high. A dragon roar shook the world. It came from the huge head of the dragon. Even across the screen, countless people couldn't help but kneel down. He even peed. This dragon's power is too terrifying. Not physical horror, but the horror of the soul. Everyone seemed to be transported to an ancient battlefield by the dragon's roar. There are thousands of dragons flying there, thousands of phoenixes singing in unison. There are ancient gods over 100 feet tall, raising mountains to the ground with the wave of their hands. There are also all kinds of monsters, and all kinds of creatures that have never been seen before. And humans. On that ancient battlefield was the weakest existence. Even if there are many of them, they can only be used as food rations, especially the monsters. Wherever he passed, corpses were everywhere and rivers of blood flowed. It took quite a while. People finally regained some clarity from the shock. Then, continue to be amazed. Because in the sky at this time, a purple gold 5-clawed divine dragon has fully emerged, bathing in a sea of thunder. Boom! A loud noise shook the whole world. The huge mouth of the 5-clawed divine dragon opened. Thunderbolts as thick as buckets poured down from the sky. CHDJ. Rumble. The entire Yuling Sex mountain protecting formation. The lightning, which was as thick as a bucket, kept exploding, just for a moment. The barrier of the formation was blown to pieces. But the thunder wasn't over yet. Continuously falling towards the mountains. Ah! Idiot! Help! Sect Master Elder, save me! In the entire Yuling Gate, the sound of ghosts crying and howling wolves kept coming. The originally lush mountains turned into pieces of scorched earth in the blink of an eye. Only the highest peak remained. Because it was protected by a golden barrier. Survived. But those who were among them, the master of the Yuling sect, the elders, and others. Their expressions at this moment were uglier than those of 18 dead fathers. We, our ordinary disciples of Yuling section, are all dead. Ah! How could this happen? Our mountain protection formation is so vulnerable. What kind of formation is this? Why did even the Chinese dragon attract a phantom? Door owner. Our Yuling sect's thousands of years of foundation have been destroyed in one fell swoop. More than a dozen elders were wailing in pain as they looked at the mountains that had turned into scorched earth. The master of Yulingman's face was ashen, and his eyes were as red as if he were about to spit out fire. He was just talking. With the mountain guard formation, Yulingman is safe and sound. You can observe first, and then decide whether to go to war. Who would have thought? Not long after observing, Yulingman will be gone. Even these old guys, they are all gone. So what if you survive? Those new generation disciples are the future of Yuling section. Ah! The master of the Yuling sect couldn't help but roar angrily to vent his anger. Because he was afraid, he would not yell out anything. I'm afraid I'll vomit blood directly. He regrets it very much now. I regret it so much. When I first saw the Chinese live broadcast room, it was actually a live broadcast of catching ghosts. Why should I let my disciples join in the fun? If it weren't for those two sisters joining in the fun, the Yuling sect will not cause such an unnecessary disaster. But if he had it to do over again, he would still choose to do this. No way. China is so mysterious. He has always coveted it. I just want to see what kind of trouble China is up to. If you can get some benefits, that would be even better. Who would have thought? In the end, the benefits of fart were not reaped. The sect is destroyed. The master of the Yuling sect screamed hoarsely. The thunder in the sky finally ended the bombing. The purple gold five-clawed divine dragon also slowly disappeared into the sky. Only. At this moment, the Yuling sect has completely lost its original appearance, and looks like the beauty of a fairyland. Looking around, there is scorched earth everywhere. From time to time, the corpses of some Yuling sect disciples would fall from the top of the mountain. Then in mid-air, it turned into ashes. Damn it, Shenlong is indeed a Shenlong, so strong. Are you kidding me? This is a legendary sacred beast. It's weird if he's not strong. If you ask me, the stronger one is Xiao 11, he moved his little hands and summoned the dragon, but the dragon balls were not used. Are you angry? Those Dragon Ball fans in Sakurajima Kingdom don't know what they think when they see this scene. What can you think? Good news, I saw the legendary dragon. Bad news, Shenlong destroyed our sect in Sakurajima Kingdom, haha. The Chinese people in the live broadcast room were delighted with the result and discussed it happily. As for the people of Sakurajima who are diving, they can only continue to dive and be a tortoise. What else can be done? In reality, you can't beat it. On the internet, you can't criticize me. It's hard for us too, compared to ordinary people. Practitioners from all over the world. My mentality at this moment has also changed a lot. Chinese practitioners are extremely inspiring. Foreign practitioners are even more determined. Determination to attack in groups and strangle China in its cradle. Too strong. These two little girls are really strong. Now, the strong men from various countries still have the ability to suppress them. If they are allowed to grow, China must rise and return to the ancient times, when one family was the dominant one. And this situation is definitely something that none of them want to see. Little 11. You have gone too far. Break the formation, break the formation. You actually used the 36 Heavenly Gang Magic Dragon formation directly. I obviously won the rock paper scissors game, so I was asked to take action. You can kill them all right now. When everyone was busy with their own thoughts, Joshi I looked at the Yuling gate, which was almost all in ruins, and complained to Joshi I angrily. Oops, Sister October, I'm sorry. I haven't used formations very often. I don't know the power of this formation. And I have already chosen, not so great anymore. People from the Yuling sect, don't they always say that they are very strong? Who knew they were so vulnerable? Joshi I looked pitiful, shaking Joshio's little arm and apologizing again and again. Everyone couldn't laugh or cry. These two sisters are actually arguing over this. It really shouldn't be too funny. It's just that everyone laughed. You, the sect master, elders, and others of Lingmen almost cried with anger. You chose a not so powerful formation? You still think we are vulnerable? This little girl, really don't go too far. You can't even compete with the legendary the Phantom of the Divine Dragon has been summoned. It's not a very powerful formation. Then what will your more powerful one look like? You still think we are vulnerable? You must know our mountain protecting formation, they use the most common spiritual stones. And when you take action, it's 36 top-grade spiritual stones. How can this compare? It's too much to bully others, it's really too much to bully others. And at this moment, Joshi, those big eyes suddenly looked towards the high mountain where the master of the Yuling sect and others were. Everyone shuddered. They themselves were stupid. How long have we survived? 100-year-old man was frightened by a 5-year-old girl? Shame on you. How shameful. Yang Mi, my daughter catches ghosts. Scared millions of viewers. Author, Tianyi Madman. Chapter 100. Sister October, look over there. There is also a small golden turtle shell. There must be many, many turtles hiding inside. The most powerful people in the Yuling sect should all be inside. I won't take action this time, dash. In order to express her apology, Joshi vowed to Joshia promised. This is what you said. Joshia was not really angry, just a little dissatisfied. After hearing Joshi's words, she looked at Yuling Gate again, the only remaining mountain, and her eyes could not hide the joy. This scene made Joshi, this little photographer, recorded it perfectly. The audience in the live broadcast room was astonished. These two little Lolita of 5 or 6 years old looked harmless and even cute. It turned out that deep down, they loved each other so much. Were they fighting? They even started fighting over who should take action. Isn't this a violent little Lolita? In response to this, many online viewers in the live broadcast room said, "These two little girls are so cruel, so brave, I like it so much." Of course. Some people don't like it very much. Two yellow-mouthed children. Court death. I am the elder of Yulingman, Aoi Masakura. I will not destroy you today, and I swear that I will not be a human being. As a voice full of anger came. On the highest mountain of Yulingman, in the Yuling shrine, a figure flew out at high speed. It was a very strange-looking monk from Sakurajima Kingdom. His head was huge, his body, but he is like a child, with short hands and feet. He looks like a big-headed doll. He has a big round face with irregular facial features, coupled with a very obvious large Mediterranean hairstyle. It looks very funny. But, although he looks like he is joking, his strength is not joking at all. When he is in mid-air, the true energy in his body starts to circulate rapidly, and the momentum around him rises steadily. The art of controlling spirits, the headless demon spirit. Following the big-headed doll, Masakura Aoi shouted angrily. A stream of jet-black ghostly aura flew out from the spirit bag in front of him, and actually condensed into one in front of him. A huge figure hundreds of meters high. The figure was like a hill, surrounded by demonic energy. Its body was covered with dense pieces of meat and scales like a crocodile. Each piece of meat and scales were covered all with a terrifying pale white face and a scary smile. Between the gaps, there is a black ghost spirit flowing continuously. It looks extremely ferocious, but it has no head. No, he is not without a head. But his head was held in his hands. He grabbed his hair as if it were a meteor hammer. GG, GG. The big-headed doll Aoi is in the air, looking up to the sky and roaring. The huge figure also looked up to the sky and roared. However, what he made was an extremely miserable and strange sound. It's like there are thousands of ghosts howling at the same time. If you look carefully, you will find it. The laughter didn't come from his head. But it comes from the densely packed pale white grimaces on the flesh and scales on his body. Involuntarily, a ridiculous idea came to everyone's mind. Doesn't each of these pale faces represent a resentful spirit? In other words, is this huge headless demon god composed of thousands of resentful spirits? The more I think about it, the more possible it seems. The ordinary people who were watching the live broadcast were shocked. And just then, an even more incredible picture appeared. Behind the headless demon, the big-headed doll Masara Aoi suddenly held his head in both hands and twisted it hard. Click. There was a crisp sound. Masakura Aoi's big head was actually twisted off his neck by himself. Blood and brain matter kept gushing out and splattered all over his body. Directly dye him into a bloody man. Ah, I peed again. Should it be so sudden, should it be so frightening that it would cost people their lives? What's going on? I'm not mentally prepared at all. Just wet the bed. I also said I won't catch ghosts today, it won't be scary. Who would have thought of something more powerful? It is indeed a country where I can live a good life. What you are playing is to take someone by surprise, and what you are playing is to be extremely perverted. Wait, that big-headed doll is not dead yet. What the hell? Even the head was screwed off, and he was still alive. Brothers, you have all forgotten that I am a practitioner, and you cannot judge it with common sense at all. I understand the practitioners, but if you twist off your head and you won't die, it's really an exaggeration. The most important thing is, I have no pants. The original live broadcast room was still in a peaceful state. Being tortured by Aoi Masakura, he was so frightened that he peed again and became a mess. But he himself doesn't care about this. After unscrewing his head, he held it in his hand just like the headless demon. At this time, he was still laughing loudly in the air. It looks extremely weird and terrifying. But if you look carefully, you will find that there are thin black lines connecting him, and the headless demon in front of him. Like a puppet, controlling the headless demon. Little doll. This headless demon is made up of tens of thousands of resentful spirits. Just missing two powerful main souls. It's up to you to fill the place today. The big-headed doll Masara Aoi is making his pre-war declaration. As he was talking, he couldn't continue talking. Because he saw a light that was not too bright, but that made people afraid to look directly at it. It's like the holy light that separated the yin and yang when the heaven and the earth first opened. That light took him back to ancient times. Let him see the picture of heaven and earth being divided. Wrong. Where is the light? This is simply a sword energy. What is separated is not heaven and earth. It was the headless demon god that he had tried his best to sacrifice. Not just the devil. And himself. Suddenly, he saw his body being shattered by the sword light. Then, it's your own soul. It was also directly annihilated in the void. Died. Are you going to die now? Don't talk about martial ethics. I haven't finished my pre-war declaration yet, and this little girl is too strong. My headless demon, with thousands of resentful spirits gathered together, can stop thousands of armies. But you didn't block his sword? Ugly people talk a lot. Don't you know the wise saying that villains die by talking too much? My father said that if a person is ready to take action, he will still be forced to do so. Then he is dead. A cold little girl's voice sounded. This was the last word Masara Aoi heard before he died. It was also the sentence that made him the most devastated in his life. Do villains die from talking too much? I don't know. This witch sage made these remarks. No one taught me. Also, your sword is still unsheathed? Impossible, absolutely impossible. Plop. Following Aoi Masakura, a mess of bloody corpses fell to the ground. The huge headless demon god also completely collapsed in mid-air. the world was once again clear and clear. Is this the elder of Yulingman? It's a little too weak. I haven't even officially drawn my sword yet. Zhou Xiao's somewhat cold voice sounded. At this moment, she was holding the red sword in her hand. However, the scabbard is still there. Died. Damn it, why is this so dead? It's over before it even begins. Haha, the villain dies because he talks too much. Killing me. It turns out that the cold little sword fairy in white also has such a funny side. In fact, there is nothing wrong with this. That Aoi thing from Sakurajima country, the time to charge forward and move forward is already long enough. I keep nagging on and on, isn't this looking for death? I was scared to death just now. I thought this was going to be a thrilling battle. Unexpectedly, Sister October's sword kill ended instantly. How can a sword kill instantly? Can a sword that is not unsheathed be considered a sword? If only Sister October had come earlier, I wouldn't have to pee my pants. Woo woo woo. Before that guy died, he was probably so depressed that he exploded. He summoned the headless demon again, and then unscrewed his own head. After charging for a long time, he was immediately killed. But it's useless even if you give him another chance, Sister October is too strong. Until now, October's sister has not used her sword once. I really want to see what she will look like when she draws her sword. For the online viewers in the live broadcast room, the atmosphere began to warm up again. Celebrating warmly, Sister October's instant kill. As for the people of Sakurajima country, their mood at this moment can be described as ups and downs. Just now that Aoi was vacant, the people of Sakurajima kingdom all see hope. The elder of Yulingman. Their strength cannot be underestimated, they are a strong group. Especially later. When I saw Masakura Aoi, a giant headless demon god that was hundreds of meters high had actually condensed into it. The entire Sakurajima kingdom was boiling with excitement. Although this headless demon looks very strange and terrifying. But the more this happens, the more it shows how powerful he is. When Masakura Aoi unscrewed his own head, the Chinese online audience was shocked. But the people of Sakurajima kingdom were even more excited and excited. They even started cheering. Abnormal. What a pervert. This is the style of our day, Sakurajima country, okay. The more perverted you are, the braver and more powerful you become. I can twist my own head off and not die. How powerful is Aoi Masakura, the elder of Yuling sect? This battle is definitely a sure thing. The people of Sakurajima kingdom have been suppressed for so long. Finally, we have waited for this moment of elation. How can we not go crazy, how can we not cheer, how can we not celebrate? Only. Their cheers and celebrations had just begun to gain momentum. Then I found out, the battle was over. Masakura Aoi on his side has been doing all kinds of tricks for a long time. That little 6-year-old girl. He just swung the sword lightly, even the scabbard was still there. Just kill the headless demon god hundreds of meters tall. And holding his big bloody head, Aoi Masara himself. Ah, little girl, don't be too arrogant. This elder, Mikami Fuyua, is here to kill you. Another voice sounded. From the Yuling shrine, a tall and thin figure flew out. It's as if a bamboo pole has become a spirit. Chi. After a flash of sword light, the refined bamboo pole was broken into 2 pieces directly from the middle. You. How could you do this? The elder of Yulingman named Mikami Byuya let out a cry before his death. He felt that he was more aggrieved and more uncomfortable than the elder Masakura Aoi just now. Although the elder Masakura Aoi was, it took a long time to swing forward and charge up, and in the end he was unable to launch any effective attacks. But at least he still had the process of swinging forward, and the effect of charging up was displayed. The supreme power was quite strong. But even the true chi was not fully functioning yet. He was cut in half with a sword? He didn't even have a chance to show off. Bah! Makami Fuyua's body, broken in two, fell to the ground. Not even the yin spirit could escape. His complete death was declared. All this happened too fast and too suddenly. The viewers in the live broadcast room still haven't figured out what's going on. I found another person who was already dead. I just said it, villains die from talking too much. It's a pity that you just don't listen. Can't we talk about it after the fight? Joshio's cold voice sounded. Everyone was ashamed. He wanted to talk after the beating. But after the beating, how could he have a chance to speak again? No, he really seemed to have a chance. Although he was broken into two festival. Even 3 souls and 7 souls were broken by a sword. But the elder Makami Fuyuya was too aggrieved. The remaining soul did not dissipate for a long time. After hearing Joshio's words, his upper half of the bamboo pole his body moved, as if he really wanted to speak. In the end, he couldn't say a word. He just spurted out a mouthful of old blood, and then died completely. Obviously. He heard what Joshio said. When he was already half dead, he was so angry that he vomited blood. Haha, did the corpse vomit blood due to anger? It really opened my eyes. It makes me laugh so much. These two sisters are both comedians. I didn't expect that the little swordsman in white with a cold temperament would also have such a funny side. They were all born to an unreliable father, which is reasonable. It can be seen that Sister October is not deliberately funny, she just likes to speak frankly. The more this happens, the more unbearable it is. Haha, no, I'll laugh for a while first. The Chinese audience in the live broadcast room were in high spirits, laughing and discussing in full swing. But the people of Sakurajima Kingdom shrank their heads even deeper. Shameful, really shameful. Why does it feel like the entire Sakurajima Kingdom is being humiliated? It's not just a humiliation in terms of combat power. There is also the humiliation of IQ. I don't know how many people even started to greet the 18th generation ancestor of Makami Fuya. If you fight, just fight, if you can, don't open your mouth. He was so aggressive that he wanted to kill people. Not even as good as the one just now. If you fail to show off, you will be treated like a dog. Sakurajima Country, Dongjing, Chiyoda District, in a secret meeting room. A large gathering of deformed royal members from the Sakurajima Kingdom royal family is still going on. At this moment, all of them looked very ugly. Yulingzone was beaten like this. It's impossible for them to say they don't care. But what they care more about is Sakurajima Country's face problem. A bunch of old monsters that have lived for hundreds of years. Facing 2 little girls of 5 or 6 years old. Just forget it if you can't beat them. He was also educated by others. Isn't this equivalent to the entire Sakurajima Kingdom being educated by China? And he's the kind who can only listen and be unable to refute. I can't stand it, I really can't stand it. They couldn't wait to come forward themselves. But, once I and others really show up, the nature of things has changed. I glanced at the empty seats at the top. Everyone had to suppress the anger in their hearts. The old emperor and the leaders of practitioners from many countries, including the rice country, are conducting secret consultations. Wait for the results to come out. It's the death period for those 2 little babies, and even for the entire Chinese cultivation world. Sichuan.